Chapter 2483. Show me all the means you have. Otherwise, we won't be able to get out of here. The prince of the great Xia dynasty said loudly. At the same time, the aura of the Tao of dragon on his body became stronger and stronger, and the roar of a dragon resounded in the void. The Alcade Saint used some kind of secret technique, and a torrential force suddenly surged from his body. 108 phantoms of gods and demons appeared in the sky, and a mysterious voice sounded between heaven and earth. This time, the void was finally illuminated. The prince of the great Xia dynasty's Tao of dragon aura turned into a true dragon and tore the darkness apart. Light shone in. Seeing this scene, everyone exclaimed, "Great!" As expected of the two top saints, they are indeed terrifying. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Heaven and earth trembled, and 9 purple runes suddenly rushed out of Xin Jingqiu's body and surrounded her. In an instant, they also illuminated a part of the world. The others also exclaimed, "God, the saintess of the Xixia Holy Land, is also so terrifying." Previously, some people had seen Xin Jingqiu fight. In their opinion, her strength had reached the level of a saintess, but she was inexperienced. But now it seemed that it was far from the truth. She had an even more terrifying trump card. These 9 mysterious runes were too terrifying. They fixed a part of the sky and emitted a power that made these experts tremble. The power of bloodline. She must have the power of bloodline. Otherwise, it was impossible to be so terrifying. Everyone was shocked, and even the prince of the great Xia dynasty and the Alcade Saint looked over. They also had a dignified look in their eyes, but they didn't know what bloodline the other party had. The 3 top geniuses illuminated the passage. This time, they could finally identify the path. The group of people moved forward again. Everyone moved forward in the dangerous and difficult situation. In addition, in the mysterious space world, Lin Xian and Wu Hua also flew for a while. Below them was a vast forest, and the river was surging. It was a magnificent scene, but there was no one. They didn't even see a demonic beast. This made them frown. This place is too strange. Why isn't there even a demonic beast? Wu Hua was puzzled, and Lin Xian's expression was even more solemn. He transmitted his voice, "Brother Wu Hua, do you feel that someone is spying on us?" "I do feel that way." Wu Hua also responded. Lin Xian's frown deepened. He had the heavenly secret divine eyes, so this feeling was the strongest. He felt as if there were countless pairs of eyes watching them. Damn it, what the hell is this? What is this place? The silence around them made them feel uneasy. Lin Xian even activated his Tianji god eyes, and a trace of golden light appeared in his eyes. He scanned his surroundings but did not find anything out of the ordinary. However, when he saw the white clouds surrounding him in the sky, he frowned. He struck out with his palm like a flying dragon, blowing away the surrounding clouds. Lin Xian's feeling of being spied on instantly disappeared. Wu Hua was astonished, and his eyes began to shine. Could it be that there was something wrong with these white clouds? When the two of them stopped, Wu Hua also raised his hand. His golden palms swept in all directions, creating countless gusts of wind that blew away the surrounding white clouds. Sure enough, when the white clouds dissipated, the feeling of being spied on disappeared. The two of them increasingly felt that there was something wrong with these white clouds. Do you still remember the white mist that emerged from the headless corpse when we were trapped? It was that white mist that brought us to this space. I think that white mist should be the key. These white clouds may be inextricably linked to the white mist, or even the entire world. Lin Xian voiced his conjecture. Wu Hua, who was beside him, nodded in agreement. That's right, but we still don't know what this white mist is. Let's keep going. Maybe we can find someone. And then we can ask. They flew for about a day and a night. Lin Xian and Wu Hua did not know how many thousands of miles they had flown. Finally, more and more white clouds appeared in front of them, as if forming a white barrier between heaven and earth. Buzz. Lin Xian raised his hand, and a sword light slashed forward. Wu Hua also clapped his golden palm, and a terrifying energy struck the white barrier. The white clouds were torn apart, and a large crack appeared. The two of them quickly entered the crack. After entering, the scene did not change. It was still a big river and a forest. It was the same as before. However, Lin Xian and Wu Hua were pleasantly surprised because they saw a person on a mountain peak in the distance. There was finally someone. The two of them were overjoyed. They sped up, turned into two streams of light, and flew over. They found that it was a young man. He wore cotton clothes, carried a bamboo basket on his back, and held a hoe in his hand. It seemed that he was picking herbs. The two of them moved like lightning, and in an instant they arrived near the mountain peak and descended. There was a whistling sound, and the trees in the surrounding forest swayed with the wind. Below, the young man in cotton clothes raised his head. When he saw two figures descending from the sky, the young man's expression changed. He turned and ran as if he had seen ghosts. This person could not fly, nor did he use any powerful abilities. He just ran on foot. However, this scene also surprised Lin Xian and Wu Hua. The other party did not seem to have any strength, but his physical fitness was not that of an ordinary person. With a light leap, he jumped dozens of meters high. With his speed, he could run thousands of meters in 2 or 3 steps. In the end, they even saw with their own eyes that the young man directly jumped over a mountain peak. Although in the eyes of Lin Xian and Wu Hua, it was nothing. However, compared to an ordinary person, it was indeed extraordinary. Wu Hua stretched out his palm, and a golden palm enveloped that person like a cloud. That person screamed in fright and rushed around, but he could not break free at all. It would be strange if the other party broke free. Lin Xian and Wu Hua flew forward. However, halfway back, the two of them were stunned, because they found that the young man in front of them had escaped. What a joke! He had escaped from Wu Hua's hands. This time, it surprised them again. Wu Hua was a holy son. Ordinary mighty figures could not escape from his hands at all. However, a young man with little strength escaped easily. Of course, the other party's escape method also amazed Lin Xian and Wu Hua. The young man in cotton clothes, who was trapped in the 5 Fingers Mountain, suddenly turned into clouds of white mist and drifted towards the cracks in the surroundings. The mist passed through the cracks and escaped the 5 Fingers Mountain. Then, outside the 5 Fingers Mountain, it condensed again and turned into a human shape. Whoosh! The young man ran away again with large strides. It was strange that this guy was related to the mist. Lin Xian and Wu Hua looked at each other. They felt that the young man was too suspicious. They had to catch him. Chapter 2484. Buzz. Lin Xian raised his hand, and countless sword lights formed a sword curtain that completely shrouded the young man. The young man frantically slapped the sword curtain and was sent flying. His body turned into white mist, and he wanted to pass through. But this time, he failed to do so. Instead, when the white mist touched the sword light, it made a sizzling sound. Ah! The young man screamed, and once again condensed into his human form and rolled on the ground. Whoosh whoosh! 2 rays of light. Lin Xian and Wu Hua came to the side of the sword curtain and frowned as they looked at the young man in linen clothes who was rolling on the ground. They said coldly, "Who are you? Damn it, who are you? Why did you come to our homeland?" The young man in linen clothes roared crazily on the ground. Obviously, he was very angry. "Foreigners, get out of our homeland." "Foreigners?" Hearing this, the two of them frowned. Lin Xian asked coldly, "So, you should have seen other foreigners. Where are they? You foreigners are not good people. The young man in linen clothes gritted his teeth. Suddenly, the ground in the distance trembled, and more than a dozen figures ran nonstop, like apes. They jumped high, crossed a few hundred meters of the mountain peak, and then landed on the ground. Their bodies were very agile, and it made one suspect that these people had a special body tempering technique. However, their bodies could turn into white mist. What kind of supernatural power was that? Bloodline power? Or some other means? They didn't know yet. In an instant, the dozen or so black dots in the distance arrived nearby. It turned out that they were also these people. They were dressed in linen clothes, and it seemed that they were the same race as the young man in linen clothes. "Stop! Don't hurt our people!" a middle-aged man roared crazily. They were very fast, and in an instant they arrived near Lin Xian and Wu Hua. Lin Xian and Wu Hua didn't make a move. They looked up ahead. In front of them, these people were dressed in linen clothes. Their eyes were solemn, and there was a hint of fear on their faces. Between their eyebrows, there were a few strange marks that looked like clouds. However, some of them had one cloud, while others had two. Lin Xian looked and saw that the tallest one had 5 auspicious clouds. This was an old man with a head full of white hair and a hunched back. However, he didn't look weak at all. When he jumped the highest, which was 500 to 600 meters. As for the middle-aged man who spoke, there were 4 auspicious clouds between his eyebrows. "Please don't attack, please don't hurt us." The middle-aged man stepped forward and said hurriedly, "Amit Ba, this penniless monk will not hurt people for no reason." Wu Hua said lightly. Lin Xian also looked at them and asked in a low voice, "Who are you people? Where is this place? How was it related to the ancient tomb?" "This is where we live. We are the White Cloud clan. As for the ancient tomb you mentioned, we don't know about it and have never heard of it," the middle-aged man hurriedly explained. Hearing this, Lin Xian and Wu Hua frowned. The other party only gave one answer to the 3 questions. The White Cloud clan. What kind of race is this? They had never heard of it before. Lin Xian looked at Wu Hua. Wu Hua also shook his head. However, from the looks of it, the other party was telling the truth. The other party's body could turn into white clouds and condense. He must have a special bloodline power. However, Lin Xian and Wu Hua were not satisfied with how the other party described the world as their homeland. "Your homeland should have a name, right?" Lin Xian asked with a frown. There was a flash of sword light in his eyes. Feeling the sharp aura, the White Cloud clan people took a few steps back. Deep fear appeared in their eyes. The middle-aged man said again, "We have lived here for generations. We named this place the White Cloud World. As for what you call it, how would we know? We are here to protect this world. You outsiders probably got some treasure map and came here to look for treasures. Humph. The White Cloud clan has been here for tens of thousands of years, but we haven't found any treasures. You outsiders, however, came one after another. Treasure? Treasure map?" Lin Xian frowned. Wu Hua's eyes flickered. "In that case, what you are guarding is a treasure. It's just a legend. If you want to believe it, we can't do anything about it. We'll take you there now." "Okay, lead the way." Lin Xian and Wu Hua were skilled and bold. They were not afraid. They also wanted to see what the legendary treasure was. "What's wrong with these White Cloud clan people?" Lin Xian waved his hand. The sword light that filled the sky disappeared, and the trapped young man in linen clothes was released. He ran to his clansmen with a pale face. The other clansmen waved their hands. "Please follow closely." As they spoke, they ran quickly over the mountains and rivers. They were very fast, but they were nothing in front of Lin Xian and Wu Hua. Lin Xian and Wu Hua flew in the sky and followed behind these people. After flying for about an hour, a village suddenly appeared in front of them. Most of them were built in the mountains. They were all tree houses and wooden houses made of bamboo. They were very simple. There were some fields around the village, and some herbs were planted. Figures flashed in the village. They should be the other white Cloud Clan people. The entire village was spread across several mountains. There was one in front. The middle-aged man turned around and pointed at the first mountain. Lin Xian nodded and flew over. Uncle Chi, you're back. Seeing the middle-aged man and the others return, the other people in the village came out to welcome them. They furrowed their brows when they saw Lin Xian and the other man following behind them. What's going on? Why are there more outsiders? Damn it, how long has it been? There are 3 groups of outsiders. Hearing this, Lin Xian and Wu Hua raised their eyebrows. 3 groups of outsiders? That means there were 2 groups of outsiders before us. They should be the people from 9 Heavens Holy Ground and Demon King Palace. I wonder who arrived first. Where are those people? When did they arrive? Lin Xian asked. We are their companions, and we came here together. Those people are on the other 2 mountains. If you didn't tell us, we wouldn't have gathered all of you together. We'll let all of you search for that illusory treasure together. An 8 or 9-year-old child said angrily. On the other 2 mountains, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and looked into the distance. Sure enough, he saw that there were other people on the other 2 mountains. 9 Heavens Holy Ground, Yin Yang Sect, Demon King Palace, and Illusion Palace are all gathered together. It seems that these guys have joined forces. But that's good too. It'll save them some trouble. If they were together, Lin Xian could continue to trick them. After all, he and Wu Hua were enough to fight against those people. Zhuzi, Xiao Shanzi, go to the other 2 mountains and invite those people over. The middle-aged man said. Hearing this, the 2 8 or 9-year-old children quickly left. They jumped more than 10 meters. They ran very fast and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Seeing this, Wu Hua asked, Do you know how to cultivate? Chapter 2485. Seeing this scene, Wu Hua asked, Do you know any mystical skills? No. The middle-aged man shook his head. The few youths in the village snorted. If we know any mystical skills, do we need to be afraid of you? They looked at Lin Xian and Wu Hua with hostility in their eyes. Of course, there was more fear and panic in their eyes. Don't be afraid. We won't hurt you. We just want to see what the treasure is. Wu Hua chanted Amitabha at the side. Lin Xian did not say anything. He slowly spread out his soul and looked around, but he did not find anything suspicious. However, he found that most of the people in the White Cloud Clan had 1 or 2 white clouds on their eyebrows. Only a few had more than 3. Lin Xian had only seen 5 on the old man. What did these white clouds represent? Could it be that the more white clouds there were, the stronger they were, the higher they jumped, or was it related to age? Lin Xian could not figure it out. The White Cloud Clan was full of mysteries. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Just as he was guessing and calculating, dozens of figures flew out from the mountain peak in the distance. There were also many people jumping below. Soon, they arrived at the mountain peak. These people were naturally from the 9 Heavens Holy Ground, the Yin Yang Sect, and the Demon Lord Palace. They saw Lin Xian and Wu Hua in the air, and their faces darkened. After landing, the 9 Heavens Saints snorted. What a stubborn guy. The people from the Yin Yang Sect and the 9 Heavens Holy Ground seemed to have joined forces. They looked at Lin Xian with hostility. After all, Lin Xian had killed a genius from the Yin Yang Sect. The people from the Demon Lord Palace were also here, but they were obviously independent and did not interact with anyone. They stood alone at the side. Other than that, there were also people from the Illusion Palace and the Nangong family. In short, most of them found the White Cloud Clan and came here. After a day or 2, these people gathered again. The people from the White Cloud Clan retreated and distanced themselves from them. Many young people and children even hid in their houses, only revealing their eyes. They looked at Lin Xian and the other outsiders with fear in their eyes. Now that everyone is here, you can bring us to see your hidden treasure, right? The people from the 9 Heavens holy ground said coldly. The eyes of those from the Yin Yang sect, the Illusion Palace, and the Monster Emperor Palace also lit up with passion. Lin Xian and Wu Hua also looked at the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man nodded. All right, follow me. Seeing this scene, everyone was overjoyed and prepared to move. However, at this moment, a cold shout came from afar. No, Uncle Chi, you can't take them to that place. This voice was like a clap of thunder, resounding in all directions. Hearing those words, the middle-aged man frowned. The people from the White Cloud clan were also confused. Lin Xian, Wu Hua, the Saint of the Nine Heavens, and the others all looked up. In the distance, a figure that was like a divine red jumped between the mountain peaks. In a few flashes, he arrived near them. Shocking Cloud. It was Startling Cloud. Brother Jingyun. Many people from the White Cloud clan exclaimed in surprise, especially the young children. They even cheered and ran over. The people from the Nine Heavens holy ground and the Yin Yang sect frowned. What was going on? Why was someone stopping them? They looked unfriendly. Sensing the change in their cold gazes, the middle-aged man from the White Cloud clan also changed his expression. He hurriedly said, Shocking Cloud, what nonsense are you talking about? Don't mess around. Hurry up and leave. Uncle Chi, what I said is true. You really can't take these outsiders there. That place is not a treasure trove. There is no treasure there in the first place. You don't have it, but you're stopping us and not letting us go. Aren't you guilty of something? A person from the Yin Yang sect sneered. The young man called Shocking Cloud took a step forward. He looked at the people from the Yin Yang sect with anger in his eyes. Lin Xian was extremely surprised by this scene, because the people from the White Cloud clan around them were looking at them with fear and wariness. However, this young man did not have any of that. There was only anger in his eyes. There was no fear or wariness at all. This was strange. He focused his gaze on the young man's glabella. In the next moment, Lin Xian's eyelids twitched. 7 auspicious clouds. That was right. There were 7 auspicious clouds between the young man's glabella. He had 2 more auspicious clouds than the old man, who had the most auspicious clouds. 7 auspicious clouds. This young man's strength should be the most valiant. Otherwise, he would not have been so confident. Lin Xian did not say anything. He quietly observed. The young man in front, Shocking Cloud, said coldly, Outsiders, I'm warning you. There is no treasure trove at all. That place is the burial ground of countless ancestors of the White Cloud clan. It's the most sacred place. Outsiders like you don't have the right to enter. Shocking Cloud, don't be presumptuous. Seeing that the young man dared to speak to the outsiders in such a manner, the expressions of the middle-aged man and the old men also changed. They hurriedly reprimanded him. However, Shocking Cloud said, Uncle Chi, you don't have to interfere in this matter. As long as I'm here, I won't allow them to enter. You won't allow us to enter? Who do you think you are? How dare you block our way? The people from the Yin Yang sect sneered. The people from the Nine Heavens sacred ground stood out. Kid, I'll give you a chance. Get out of my sight. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. The people from the Demon King Palace snorted coldly. If you continue talking nonsense, not only will we kill you, but we'll also destroy the White Cloud clan. These people from the Demon King Palace had a monstrous demonic aura. They were extremely terrifying. Hearing this, the people from the White Cloud clan were so scared that their faces turned pale. They kept retreating. No, don't do it. Everyone, please don't do it. The middle-aged man and the old men around him quickly persuaded them. We'll definitely bring you there. Please don't do anything to the White Cloud clan. Shocking Cloud, back off. Are you trying to rebel? I've said it before. As long as I'm here, I won't let them pass. Unless they step over my dead body. You want to die? Then I'll fulfill your wish. A martial artist from the nine heavens' sacred ground sneered. He stood out. Previously, they had already investigated these people. Apart from being strong and having a strong physique, these people did not have any other martial skills. Although these people's physiques were extremely strong in the eyes of outsiders, they could not withstand a single blow from the nine heavens' sacred ground. You're courting death. Die. The disciple from the nine heavens' sacred ground struck out with his palm, causing the void to explode. His terrifying palm grabbed forward. Oh no! Please stop! The middle-aged man and the old men shouted crazily. However, they could not stop it. Just this terrifying storm alone was enough to make them continuously retreat. Sigh. Wu Hua sighed. He waved his hand, and golden light and runes appeared in the sky, covering the surrounding village and protecting the children, young men, and women. It prevented them from being affected by the energy. Otherwise, there would be nothing left of the mountain peak under the storm of energy. Chapter 2486. Jingyan roared, not dodging at all. He threw out a punch as well. Lin Xian could clearly feel the 7 auspicious clouds between Jingyun's eyebrows emitting a brilliant light. Boom! A low sound was heard, and the sky cracked. Several large cracks appeared and spread in all directions. A violent force swept across the area. Fortunately, the village was covered by the Buddha's light, which prevented it from being destroyed. Boom, boom, boom. After the attack, Jingyun took a step back, while the martial artist from the nine heavens' sacred ground took 3 steps back. His arm was numb. How could this be? At this moment, the people from the nine heavens' sacred ground and the Yin-Yang sect were shocked. They did not expect the other party to be so powerful. Even the people from the White Cloud tribe were shocked. Jingyun, stop! The middle-aged man and the elders were still trying to persuade him. However, they had already fought. How could they stop? Even if they wanted to stop, the people from the nine heavens' sacred ground would not let them off. Sure enough, the martial artist from the nine heavens' sacred ground gritted his teeth. Damn it, how dare you resist? You're courting death. He was furious. He could not take down a person who did not have any special skills and was even forced to retreat. This made him feel ashamed. At this moment, his eyes were filled with murderous intent. He swore that he would kill this young man. You, despicable outsider, do you think I'm afraid of you? Jingyan roared. He stomped his feet, and cracks appeared in the void around him. This guy is so powerful. The surrounding martial artists were shocked. Look at the 7 auspicious clouds between his eyebrows. Is that the source of his power? Many people discussed. Hearing this, the martial artist from the nine heavens' sacred ground's eyes lit up. In the next moment, he waved his hand, and a ray of sword light shot towards Jingyun's eyebrows. Boom! Jingyan roared, and the 7 auspicious clouds on his body shone brightly. He waved his fist and fought against the sword light. Cracks appeared in the void, and the surrounding people were shocked. The disciple from the nine heavens' sacred ground was also powerful. He seemed to be a genius martial artist. He held the killing sword in his hand and moved freely. The 2 of them exchanged 30 blows. He grabbed an opportunity and appeared behind Jingyun. The terrifying sword Qi slashed towards Jingyun. If this sword could hit its target, it would definitely be able to slice a person in half. And from the looks of it, Jingyun definitely wouldn't be able to dodge. Sure enough, the sword hit. Seeing this, the people of nine heavens' holy ground smiled. The Yin-Yang sect and Illusion Destroyer Palace also heaved a sigh of relief. However, in the next moment, their expressions froze as they screamed. Impossible! How could this be? The disciple of the nine heavens' holy ground who had attacked Lin Fan was equally stunned. That was because he discovered that his sword had indeed hit its mark. However, the other party's waist suddenly turned into white mist. It was as if he had turned into air. Therefore, his sword strike only hit some of the mist. Damn it, how did this happen? The cultivator was dumbfounded, unable to believe what he had just heard. At this moment, Jing Yun turned his head, and a terrifying fist landed on his opponent's body. With a loud bang, the martial artist from the Nine Heavens' holy ground was sent flying. Clang! He crashed into the surrounding Buddhist light and fell to the ground, vomiting blood. Defeated. How could this be? Everyone was stunned. The faces of the people of Nine Heavens' holy ground turned ugly. Lin Xian and Wu Hua also furrowed their brows. This guy was really strange. Sure enough, Jing Yun could transform into a cloud like the other members of the White Cloud tribe. Moreover, it was a partial transformation. Jing Yun was very strong. Looking at his strength, it seemed that he was stronger than the ordinary Almighties. At first, they thought that the White Cloud tribe didn't have any experts. They didn't expect such a powerful young man to appear. It seemed that the White Cloud tribe was indeed strange. Lin Xian and Wu Hua whispered to each other. The others were also shocked. At this moment, all the martial artists and experts stared at each other with eyes as sharp as lightning. Jing Yun's strength was beyond their expectations. I've said it before. If you want to go over, you'll have to step over my dead body. Otherwise, you'd better get lost. Jing Yun shouted coldly. Hearing this, the surrounding people's faces changed. The Saint of Nine Heavens snorted coldly. He didn't know what was good for him. He took a step forward, and a vast amount of energy surged out. Countless cracks appeared in the sky and spread in all directions. Jing Yun's expression was also extremely solemn because he felt a terrifying force rushing towards him. It was as if it was going to tear him into pieces. He was extremely shocked. He didn't expect the young man in front of him to be so powerful. Just one step was enough to create such a terrifying aura. Jing Yun didn't dare to be careless. He shouted angrily, and his body turned into white mist to dodge the energy. On the other side, his body reformed. Kill! Jing Yun roared angrily and charged over again. He waved his fist, and it was as if a mountain was descending from the sky. The entire mountain peak was trembling. However, the Saint of Nine Heavens was extremely powerful. He dodged the attack with a flickering light and a passing shadow. At the same time, a palace appeared above his head and descended from the sky. It shrouded Jing Yun in an instant. The immortal palace shone brilliantly and cast down tens of thousands of rays of light, sealing the entire void. Jing Yun's body was also immobilized. Boom. Jing Yun roared angrily and turned into a cloud again, trying to escape. However, he didn't succeed this time. The area enveloped by the immortal palace had completely sealed the void, making it impossible for Jing Yun to escape. Jing Yun had nowhere to hide as the immortal palace descended. Seeing this scene, the middle-aged man and the elders hurriedly shouted, "Please stop! Please don't kill him! We'll take you there!" Humph! The Saint of Nine Heavens snorted coldly, and the immortal palace stopped in midair. The white mist below condensed and transformed into Jing Yun's face again. At this moment, his face was pale, and there was blood at the corner of his mouth. "Hurry up and apologize, Jing Yun. Admit your mistake and retreat. Otherwise, you'll die." The middle-aged man roared angrily. The young children in the house were also nervous. "Big brother Jing Yun, come back quickly. I've said it before. If you want to go there, you have to defeat me. Haven't you lost yet?" The Saint of Nine Heavens sneered. He stood with his hands behind his back and didn't make a move at all. It was just one immortal palace descending, and Jing Yun was already unable to resist. How dare someone like Jing Yun talk big in front of him? What a joke. "You can try whether I've lost or not. Do you really think your immortal palace can kill me?" Jing Yun said coldly. He wiped the blood at the corner of his mouth with his thumb and smeared it between his eyebrows. Buzz! The 7 auspicious clouds were shrouded in blood, An endless blood light emitted from them. Whoosh! 7 blood-colored, auspicious clouds appeared around him and enveloped him. 7 evils blood clouds. You've cultivated such a thing. The middle-aged man was shocked. The elders also exclaimed in surprise. Their faces were filled with fear. They obviously didn't expect Jing Yun to have such a method. Chapter 2487. Ha! Jing Yun ignored him. At this moment, he roared angrily. He opened his palms and lifted the falling immortal palace up. Ha! His strength had increased again. This scene shocked everyone. Even the big black yak from the Demon King Palace frowned. Lin Xian and Wu Hua's eyes were also shining. Interesting. This should be some kind of bloodline superpower, Lin Xian whispered to himself. The 9 firmament saints' face darkened. It seems that if I don't teach you a lesson, you won't know how powerful I am. He was angry. He stretched out a finger and pointed forward. Whoosh! A stream of light cut through the void like a comet and flew forward. The void shattered in an instant. Countless black holes appeared around him. This attack was aimed at Jing Yun's forehead. Jing Yun naturally wouldn't sit still and wait for death. The 7 blood clouds around him spun rapidly, emitting endless blood-red light and forming a light screen. Clang! 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 The blood-red light screen shook like waves. The first layer of light was shattered, then the second. However, the 3rd layer of light was able to block this shocking attack. This scene stunned the 9 firmament saint, but the murderous intent in his eyes became sharper. 9 firmament divine palm. At this moment, the 9 firmament saint finally displayed a great superpower. In the sky, 9 huge divine palms descended from the sky like the palms of a giant. The sky and earth collapsed. The palm descended and shrouded Jing Yun. The blood-red clouds around Jing Yun spun again. The 6th palm of the 9 firmament divine palm had already shattered 7 blood clouds. The 7th palm directly shrouded Jing Yun. This palm was about to smash him into a bloody mist. Jing Yun's face was pale. He didn't expect his opponent's palm technique to be so powerful. The White Cloud clan was even more shocked. At this critical moment, Lin Xian made his move. He flicked his finger, and a sword wave flew out. Buzz! This sword wave hit the 7th palm, causing it to stop in the sky. Seizing this opportunity, Jing Yun's figure flashed, and he retreated. Damn it! Who is it? How dare you stop our saint? The people of the 9 heavens, holy ground, roared madly. The 9 firmament saint turned his head and stared at Lin Xian. What is the meaning of this? He's already lost, so there's no need to kill him. He'll probably take us there anyway. Lin Xian said indifferently. There was another reason why he saved the young man. He was afraid that the White Cloud clan would react violently if the young man was killed. That would be very disadvantageous to them. That was why he had taken action. Since when was it your turn to tell me what to do? The 9 firmament saint looked displeased. Lin Xian sneered. Is that so? Your memory is really bad. Just a few days ago, I ordered you to go east and west. At that time, didn't you also listen obediently? Now why are you pretending in front of me? You. The 9th firmament saint was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. A few days ago, in order to break the 8 trigrams formation, he was indeed very unhappy with the other party's command. But at that time, for the sake of the treasure, he could only endure. Who would have thought that the other party would bring up old matters again? He was so angry that his teeth itched. He even wanted to attack Lin Xian. But at this time, Jing Yun sighed. All right, you win. You can go to the treasure. Hearing this, the 9 firmament saint stopped in his tracks and did not attack again. A smile appeared on Lin Xian's face. Very well, lead the way then. Everyone please follow me. The middle-aged man sighed. He and a few other elders led the way. Jing Yun also followed. The group left the mountain and headed into the distance. After about 7 or 8 mountains, they finally arrived at a valley. The valley was quiet and lush, but there were no animals, not to mention beasts or humans. At this moment, there was an altar in the south of the valley. Although it was old, it was very clean. The people of the White Cloud clan must have come here often to clean. So this is where the treasure is hidden? The people of the 9 Firmament Holy Ground asked. The people of the Yin Yang sect also looked around. At this moment, everyone began to search the entire valley, but they did not find anything. Everyone, follow me. The middle-aged man did not say anything and led the way. Soon, they arrived in front of the altar. Lin Xian and the others looked carefully and found that the altar was very old. There were mysterious runes on it that looked like fog and clouds. It was very lively. The middle-aged man and the others knelt on the ground and kowtowed to the altar. When they kowtowed 8 times, the altar shone brightly. The clouds on it seemed to have come alive and kept moving. Behind the altar, there was a rumbling sound. Inside was the place where the treasures were hidden. Looking at the door slowly opening, the middle-aged man and the others stood up and pointed forward. Lin Xian, Wu Hua, the 9 Firmament Saint, and the others narrowed their eyes. They looked forward. They did not enter, but used their souls to check. However, there seemed to be a mysterious force behind the door that prevented their souls from entering. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a golden light. He activated his heavenly secret divine eyes and could only see a few meters ahead. It was dark inside and looked very old. He could not see any danger for the time being. We're not familiar with this place, so you guys lead the way, the 9 Firmament Saints said coldly. He was also afraid that the other party would play tricks, so he wanted the middle-aged man and the others to go in first and lead the way. That way, they could capture the other party if there was danger. Okay, the middle-aged man did not refuse. This scene made Lin Xian, the 9 Firmament Saint, and the others breathe a sigh of relief. It did not seem like a trap. At this time, Jingyan said, "Uncle Qi, let me go." "You?" Many people looked at Jingyan and frowned. That fellow had tried to stop them earlier, and he even went as far as to attack them. Why was he so kind now? They were not at ease. "You can't. You have to give in to the middle-aged man and these old men. Jingyan and I will go in. The elders are old and not suitable to move around." The middle-aged man sighed. "All right." Hearing this, the 9 Firmament Saint and the others nodded. Lin Xian and Wu Hua stood at the side and did not refuse. Then the middle-aged man and Jingyan took the lead and walked toward the door. After the 2 of them went in, the 9 Firmament Saint and the others moved. Lin Xian and Wu Hua's bodies also glowed. The 2 of them followed in. When they were more than 10 meters in, the door behind them made a rumbling sound and quickly closed. The faint light also disappeared in an instant, and the passage became dark. However, this was not a problem for Lin Xian and the others. Their bodies glowed brightly, and the passage was instantly illuminated. "Everyone, please follow me." The middle-aged man led the way, and Jingyan also walked in front. Both of them were not slow, but with the strength of Lin Xian and the others, they easily kept up. Chapter 2488. Gradually, the 2 of them began to walk to the sides of the passage. They did not explain anything. Lin Xian and the others did not mind. After a few turns, Jing Yun and the middle-aged man suddenly slammed their palms on the wall. Boom, boom, boom. The ancient wall rumbled and was covered with countless cracks. It was like glass that would shatter at any moment. "Damn it, what are you doing?" Seeing this, the people from the Yin Yang sect roared. The others' expressions changed as well. "How dare you play tricks in front of me?" The 9 Firmament Saint and the Black Yak also roared. However, before they could attack, they were shocked, because countless cracks had appeared on the walls on both sides. Black fog was spreading out from the cracks. The fog was very fast and seemed to be endless. It spewed out from the cracks and instantly covered the entire passage. Despicable outsiders! How dare you want the treasures of the White Cloud clan? Now, die! Sinister laughter came from the front. It made one's scalp tingle. You're courting death. The people from the 9 Firmament Sacred Ground and the Yin-Yang sect roared. Among them, the people from the 9 Firmament Sacred Ground charged forward. Whoosh! Sharp saber light flashed and cut through the void. However, it was blocked by the black fog. The 2 martial artists from the 9 Firmament Sacred Ground were sent flying. The blood in their bodies was boiling. On the other side, the people from the Yin-Yang sect were also blocked. They looked at the black fog in front of them in shock. That was because the black fog was making gurgling sounds. Hideous heads and faces appeared from the black fog. There were even claws, scales, and tails. Demonic beasts. Seeing this, the surrounding people frowned. However, the people from the Fey Imperial Palace sneered. They all had the bloodline of mutated beasts. They were the least afraid of demonic beasts. Scram! The black yak shouted coldly. His voice was like thunder roaring in all directions. His voice contained the power of his bloodline. Ordinary Fey kings would have knelt on the ground when they felt the power of his bloodline. However, this time around, his bloodline power had lost its effect. The monsters in the black fog were not affected at all. Instead, they let out roars and charged over. In an instant, Lin Xian and the others were surrounded. Miserable screams rang out as many of the 9 Heavens Holy Ground Illusion Destroyer Palace and Yin-Yang sect cultivators were bitten, tearing off large chunks of flesh and blood. Blood dyed the ground red as they frantically retreated. Damn it! One attack after another slashed at the black fog and the monsters. However, the black fog was the same as the white clouds. It dispersed with a single slash, and after it dispersed, it could fuse back together again. It could be said that ordinary swords and sabers could not hurt them at all. Instead, more and more black fog came out of the crack. Damn it, what kind of monster is this? Why can't I kill him? The people of 9 Heavens Holy Ground and Yin-Yang sect were horrified. They kept retreating while casting out defensive lights. Bang, 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 bang. These monsters crashed into the defensive barrier, making earth-shattering noises. The light defense was very strong, but as more and more monsters appeared, the disciples were gradually unable to hold on. Get lost! At that moment, the Saint of 9 Heavens roared. The celestial palace in his body rushed up and floated in the sky. Curved rays of light shone down and covered the people of the 9 Heavens Holy Land. On the Yin-Yang sect side, they worked together to cast out Yin and Yang Qi. A Yin-Yang diagram floated above their heads, blocking all the attacks. The people of Illusion Palace cast out a picture scroll that wrapped around them in all directions, temporarily blocking the black fog. The black yak and the other's demonic chi soared into the sky to resist. Wu Hua chanted Amitabha, and the Buddhist light flickered. It had a natural restraining effect on these monsters. These monsters retreated like the tide. They did not attack Wu Hua. Instead, they all turned their attention to Lin Xian. Buzz! Lin Xian's dragon sword field appeared and blocked these monsters. At the same time, he waved his hand. The dragon sword field emitted sword chi and slashed forward. Seeing this scene, the people of 9 Heavens Holy Ground and Yin-Yang sect sneered. It was useless. The attacks could not hurt them at all. But as soon as he said that, they were stunned, because the black monsters that were hit by the sword chi were screaming in pain. They seemed to be very miserable. What? How was that possible? How could his sword chi hurt his opponent? These people were stunned. They also cast out sword light and saber light, but it was useless. Damn it, what kind of swordsmanship was this kid using? The Saint of Nine Heavens and the Black Yak also frowned. They had always felt that Lin Xian's swordsmanship was very strange. It seemed to be much fiercer than ordinary sword chi. That attack power made them feel apprehensive. They did not expect it to have a restraining effect on the black monsters. Brother Wu Hua, let's go. After killing those monsters, Lin Xian said to Wu Hua with a smile. Wu Hua nodded. The Buddhist light on his body shone brightly. The two strode forward. Wherever they passed, the black monsters retreated like a flood. They did not dare to approach at all. Hurry up and follow. Seeing this scene, the Saint of Nine Heavens, the Black Yak, the people of Yin Yang sect, and Illusion Palace all went forward, wanting to hitch a ride. But as soon as they moved, the black monsters in the sky rushed over, and the black fog enveloped them. Fierce collision sounds were heard, and angry roars were heard. Damn it, get lost! These people were all crazy. Especially the Saint of Nine Heavens and the Black Yak. They even used their special skills to kill in all directions. They were afraid that the treasures would be taken away by Lin Xian and Wu Hua. Hearing the screams behind them, Lin Xian and Wu Hua smiled. It seemed that the black fog should be able to stop the people behind for a while. In this case, they would not be polite. The two could not help but speed up. Wu Hua's Buddhist light shone brightly, blocking all the black fog. Lin Xian's sword chi was like a dragon. The terrifying sword chi spread out in all directions, and any black monsters that dared to come close were directly killed. Buzz. After flying for a while, two figures suddenly appeared in front of them. Seeing these two people, Lin Xian snorted coldly. Wu Hua also frowned, because these two people were the middle-aged man and Jing Yun, who had brought them in. The two of them were shocked to see Lin Xian and Wu Hua. Damn it, impossible! How could you escape the zombie beast pursuit? They were too surprised because they did not expect these two people to pass through the black fog so easily. Lin Xian said coldly, "There is indeed something wrong with the two of you." He struck out two water swords, enveloping the front. The sea surged and turned into two cages, enveloping the two of them. Whoosh! Lin Xian and Wu Hua strode forward. This time, they would not be soft-hearted. They would torture these two people properly. They were now wondering if this was a treasure trove. Chapter 2489. Two ocean cages surrounded them, and the surrounding seawater surged. Jing Yun and the middle-aged man could not escape at all. However, the two of them were not afraid. Instead, they sneered. He, ha ha! Foolish outsiders, do you really think you can defeat us? The corners of their mouths curled up in a demonic smile. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian and Wu Hua both stopped and frowned. What's going on? Why are their expressions so strange? Suddenly, there was a cracking sound, and the two ocean cages were torn apart. Two large black hands emerged from the cracks in the walls. In an instant, they tore apart the water swords. Foolish outsiders, you still want our treasures? Now, go die obediently for me. The two of them shouted coldly. The black fog shrouded Jing Yun and the middle-aged man. Buzz. In the black fog, a pair of eyes opened with a demonic light. Two human-shaped black fog appeared in front of Lin Xian and Wu Hua. Kill. The human-shaped black fog formed by Jing Yun charged toward Lin Xian, while the middle-aged man charged toward Wu Hua. Humph! Wu Hua snorted coldly, and the Buddhist light on his body became even more dazzling. There were even runes flashing around him. They turned into mysterious runes one after another and blasted forward. Bang! The middle-aged man roared, but he was not as terrified as the black monsters before. He was able to resist. This scene made Wu Hua even more surprised. Whoosh! Lin Xian waved the great dragon sword chi, and streaks of sword light slashed toward the black fog in front of him. Before he got close, Jingyun screamed in pain. There were a few more sword scars on his body, but soon the fog on his body enveloped the sword scars. Jingyun rushed over again. Jingyun's strength was not strong, and he was easily suppressed by the ninth firmament saint even after using his ultimate move, the Seven Fiends' Blood Cloud. But now, after being enveloped by the black fog and turning into a human-shaped fog, his strength had soared. His current strength was probably not weaker than the saints. Moreover, he was extremely strange. He could turn into fog and dodge powerful attacks. He was even more difficult to deal with than the saints. If an ordinary saint were to encounter such a situation, they would definitely have a headache. However, Lin Xian was still fine. His great dragon sword spirit could destroy everything, so even if the other party could turn into mist, he would not be able to dodge his attack. Streaks of sword chi tore through the void and turned into a sky full of sword radiance, enveloping Jingyun. Jingyun's body turned into mist and dodged in all directions. However, the places that were swept by the sword chi still emitted white smoke and miserable screams. Therefore, after this attack, Daoist Jing Yun's figure shrunk. Roar, kill. This completely infuriated him. With a furious roar, the black gas that filled the sky surged. 9 black holes appeared beside him, blocking the sword light that filled the sky. At the same time, he attacked again. The great battle between the two shook the heavens and earth, their momentum terrifying. On the other side, the battle between No Flower and the middle-aged man was also intense. Wu Hua had a great Buddhist supernatural power and a mysterious bloodline. Therefore, his suppression of such dark things was very strong. For a moment, the middle-aged man was suppressed. Amit Ba. 9 Buddhist runes appeared in the sky, spinning nonstop and emitting golden light. They were like 9 suns that blasted forward. The middle-aged man kept retreating. On the other side, Jingyun was also sent flying by Lin Xian again. The two of them retreated into the distance, roaring nonstop like crazy beasts. Suddenly, the sound of something breaking through the air came from behind. It turned out that the people of the 9 Heavens Sacred Ground and Demon Imperial Palace who were trapped by the black fog had rushed over. Although the black fog was strange, there were top powerhouses like the 9 Heavens Saint and the Black Yak. Moreover, these martial artists of the sacred grounds were not weak. They worked together and forced the fog to retreat. However, they were also seriously injured. Other than the 9 Heavens Saint and the Black Yak, the others were more or less injured. When they saw that Lin Xian and No Flower were blocked and did not advance, they all breathed a sigh of relief. Great. It seemed that they had not gotten the treasure yet. However, when they saw the 2 human-shaped fog, they frowned. What were those things? They could naturally feel the terrifying aura emitted from these human-shaped fog. Damn it, this place was too strange. There were even human-shaped monsters. Charge over. The 9 Heavens Saint snorted coldly. The Black Yak also led the people of Demon Imperial Palace to charge over. None of them paid any attention to Lin Xian and Wu Hua. Instead, they rushed straight ahead. In front, Jingyun and the middle-aged man roared. The fog around them floated, forming a black light that filled the sky. Puff, puff, puff. The 9 Heavens Saint and the Black Yak were actually blocked. This scene made all the surrounding martial artists scream. The other party had the combat strength of a physical level. Their eyes were about to pop out. The 9 Heavens Saint and the Black Yak's faces were gloomy. Now they finally knew why Lin Xian and No Flower had not broken through and left. Damned outsider. Go to hell for me. Jingyun and the middle-aged man did not attack again. Their palms formed a seal, and the red light in their eyes became more and more intense. Boom. Their bodies suddenly exploded. forming a boundless black fog. Cracks appeared on the surrounding walls again. The black fog filled the sky, completely enveloping Lin Xian and the others again. And this time it was even more strange. It was not just black fog, but formed an array. Have a taste of the corpse soul array. A cold voice sounded. The array was activated, and terrifying energy attacked everyone. Get lost! Furious roars rang out one after another, and energy explosions shook the heavens and the earth. This array was too mysterious. Although they were still in the passage, they seemed to be in another world in the array at this moment. No matter where they went or how they broke through, they could not leave. They even felt that the vitality in their bodies was being stripped away bit by bit. The Buddhist light on No Flower's body shone, scaring away all the black fog, creating a vacuum around him. As he walked, the black fog around him dispersed like the tide, but it was useless. He could not recognize the direction at all. He could only walk in the array and could not break through it. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian said, "Brother No Flower, let's work together. You disperse the black fog. I will break the array and find a way out." Buzz. Lin Xian's eyes shone with golden light. He opened the heavenly secret god eye, and mysterious runes flashed. Whoosh! In the void above their heads, a pair of golden eyes appeared. Although it was very faint and hazy, everyone could clearly feel that there was a god looking down on them. As soon as the golden eyes appeared, the black fog shook violently and almost dissipated. The warriors also felt a chill in their hearts, and their hair stood on end. What was going on? Why did they feel like they were being peeped at? The Black Yak and the Ninth Firmament Saint also frowned. Their eyes were like rainbows sweeping in all directions. Suddenly, their bodies trembled because they saw the illusory golden eyes above them. It was cold and emotionless, like the eyes of a god. What was this? Whose divine power was it? Or was it originally the same as the black fog? Was it used by the White Cloud clan to deal with them? Chapter 2490. They didn't know, but the 9 Firmament Saints' palace shone even brighter. Mysterious demonic patterns appeared on the Black Yak's body. Facing the unknown golden eyes, they didn't dare to be careless. The golden eyes were naturally formed by Lin Xian. The phantom of the heavenly secret divine eye appeared in the sky and scanned below. After a while, Lin Xian smiled. "Found it. Brother Wu Hua, let's go." Next, Lin Xian began to guide the way, and Wu Hua was responsible for dispelling the black fog. Finally, the two left the corpse soul array. The two of them left, follow them, and rush out. Behind them, the voices of the 9 Firmament Saint and the others came with anxiety and joy. The 9 Firmament Saint and the Black Yak took the lead, following the path Lin Xian and Wu Hua came out. Just as they were about to come out, Lin Xian and Wu Hua, who were in front of them, stopped and turned around. "Humph! Go back!" Lin Xian snorted, and the dragon sword field turned into an azure dragon, crashing forward. Wu Hua also shot out several rays of Buddhist light, forming a golden Buddha palm. Bang! Facing the two shocking attacks, the Black Yak and the 9 Firmament Saint tried their best to block. After the two attacks, the 9 Firmament Saint and the Black Yak were forced back, and in this moment, the surrounding black fog shrouded them again. The original path disappeared. Damn it! Ah, damn it! The 9 Firmament Saints' crazy roar came from the black fog. "Damn human, don't let us catch you, or I will kill you!" The Black Yak roared crazily. The 9 Firmament Saint was full of murderous intent. "Lin Xian, Wu Hua, I will remember you too. The next time I see you, I will kill you too." The crazy roar sounded, but Lin Xian and Wu Hua only sneered. They wouldn't pay attention to this kind of threat. Let's go, Lin Xian said. Their figures flickered as they walked forward. Along the way, they didn't encounter any more black fog, nor were they attacked by the array. But they didn't encounter any treasures. The cold aura around them became heavier and heavier, as if the two of them had fallen into a 10,000-year-old ice cave. In the end, both of them frowned. What kind of place was this? Was there any treasure? Fortunately, after walking for another half an incense stick's worth of time, something else finally appeared in front of them. There was also an ancient altar in front of them, similar to the one outside. It was just that the scale was a little smaller. A cauldron was placed on top of the ancient altar. It was a bronze cauldron with countless runes engraved on it. Seeing this bronze cauldron, Lin Xian and Wu Hua stopped again. Their eyes flashed as they glanced at each other. To be honest, the previous two dangers were caused by the bronze cauldron. This included entering the mysterious space this time. They did not expect to encounter a bronze cauldron here. Could it be that the treasure mentioned by the White Cloud clan was this bronze cauldron? To be honest, they didn't really want to touch the bronze cauldron. Because of the last two times, they felt that it was really strange. However, they were still very curious. They also wanted to know what was inside the bronze cauldron. Was there really a treasure inside? Brother Lin, I'll use the Buddha's light to suppress it first. Then Wu Hua made a hand seal. 9 Buddhist runes appeared in the void and floated forward, circling around the bronze cauldron. Lin Xian's soul rushed forward and probed into the cauldron. At the same time, Wu Hua also used his soul power. Their soul power probed into the bronze cauldron in front of them. However, as soon as they entered, their expressions changed, and they immediately withdrew their soul power. This was because an extremely sharp sound came from the bronze cauldron. It sounded like a woman's voice, and it was very miserable and sharp. This scream almost shattered Lin Xian and Wu Hua's souls. Lin Xian's face was pale as he withdrew his soul power. On the other side, Wu Hua's expression was grave. What was inside? Fortunately, they were unable to use the 9 Buddhist runes to suppress it. Otherwise, their souls would have been severely injured when that sharp sound was emitted. Let me see what kind of monster is inside. Lin Xian's face was also cold. He opened his heavenly secret god eyes and made a hand seal. A pair of hazy golden eyes appeared above him. He didn't use it before, because it consumed a lot of soul power. Unless it was a last resort, he didn't want to use it. However, he couldn't care less now. A pair of golden eyes appeared in the void, looking down like the eyes of a god. Finally, Lin Xian saw clearly what was inside the bronze cauldron. However, he was stunned. Then the golden eyes in the sky disappeared. What did Brother Lin see? Wu Hua was also puzzled. There were 2 small cauldrons inside the bronze cauldron. They were sealed and couldn't be seen clearly. However, they should be the treasure that the White Cloud clan mentioned. There are 2 small cauldrons, one for each of us. However, what was that sharp sound? Wu Hua was even more puzzled. Lin Xian arrived. It was a human face. To be precise, it was a human face carved with runes. It wrapped the 2 small cauldrons under the bronze cauldron. If we want to take the small cauldrons inside, we have to deal with that sharp sound. Brother Lin, what do you think? Lin Xian said in a low voice. There wasn't much time. The 9 Firmament Saint and the Black Yak must be able to break through the array. Therefore, we have to end this quickly. I was able to resist the sharp voice, but even though I was able to contend against it, I was unable to protect my soul from the impact. When the time comes, both sides will suffer. Hearing this, Wu Hua smiled. Brother Lin, you don't have to worry. I have a treasure to protect your soul. With that, he flipped his hand and took out a Buddhist bead. The bead was crystal clear and about the size of an apple. It flickered with Buddhist light and was covered with Buddhist runes. This is a soul fixation bead. It can protect our souls. A soul fixation bead. Lin Xian was surprised. He didn't expect Wu Hua to have such a good thing. In fact, Lin Xian didn't know much about the Western Desert. If the elders of other sacred grounds were here, they would definitely scream when they heard the words soul fixation bead, because it was a treasure of Lanrua Temple. With it, one wouldn't be affected by the soul. Moreover, it was rumored that even if a dead person was enveloped by the soul fixation bead, their 3 souls and 7 spirits could be fixed. Perhaps there was a possibility of resurrection. There were many rumors about the soul fixation bead. Okay, let's do it. We'll work together. Lin Xian nodded. Wu Hua waved his hand, and the soul fixation bead floated in the sky. Countless Buddhist lights scattered and enveloped the 2 of them. Lin Xian felt the golden light and was surprised. Indeed, he felt a mysterious force protecting his soul. This way, he didn't have to worry about anything. The next moment, he mobilized the dragon sword soul in his body. A dragon soul rushed out of his body and appeared in the sky, bearing its fangs and brandishing its claws. With a roar, the dragon's soul entered the bronze cauldron. Chapter 2491. Ah, that sharp voice sounded. It was as if sharp sword divine, light pierced through the void. The 9 runes that Wu Hua shot out collapsed in an instant. Fortunately, the soul anchoring pearl blocked all the soul attacks. Roar! The dragon sword spirit roared, and the dragon's roar shook the 9 heavens. It resisted the strange cry of the human face. Countless cracks appeared in the void and spread to the surroundings. Behind them, in the corpse soul array, the 9th firmament saint and the black yak heard the dragon's roar, and their eyelids twitched. The surrounding martial artists felt their blood boil. Their faces were pale. What was that sound? Not good. Damn it. They made a move. There must be treasures ahead. This should be their trump card. The 9th firmament saint roared. He couldn't care less. He had to break the array. Buzz. The 9th firmament saint shouted coldly and quickly formed a seal. The door of the immortal palace above his head suddenly opened, and a ray of light flew out from inside. Like an immortal light, it directly cut through the void. A large crack appeared in the black fog array ahead. On the black yak's side, it let out a roar. Its body suddenly grew, and a ferocious ox demon king appeared in the void. The bull's horns directly tore the array apart. Go! The black yak rampaged and led the people of the Demon King Palace away. The 9th firmament saint also opened a path with the immortal palace. The group finally broke the array. They pushed their speed to the limit and rushed forward. In front of them, the dragon sword spirit fought against the demonic human face. Gradually, the sword spirit suppressed the demonic human face. Whoosh! The dragon swung its tail and shrouded 2 small bronze cauldrons. That's great. Lin Xian and Wu Hua waved their hands and each grabbed a small bronze cauldron. The 2 small bronze cauldrons were very simple and unadorned. They were also engraved with runes and were as big as a human head. They were heavy, and no one knew what was inside. The 9th firmament saint, the black yak, and the people of the Yin Yang sect happened to see this scene. Immediately, their eyes turned red. Damn it, put down the treasures. The 9th firmament saint roared, and the black yak also looked ferocious. They were the fastest and arrived nearby in an instant. Humph! Lin Xian waved the dragon sword spirit and threw the bronze cauldron in front of him. Once the bronze cauldron was thrown out, he immediately retrieved the great dragon sword soul. The soul fixation pearls above their heads shone brightly, enveloping the 2 of them. Ah! A sharp voice came from the bronze cauldron and spread in all directions. Hearing this, everyone felt their scalps go numb. The 9th firmament saint's son and the Black Yak were the first to bear the brunt of the attack. The two of them retreated and spat out mouthfuls of blood. The Holy Land martial artists behind them were also pale and twitching nonstop. This was a soul attack. They were terrified. They didn't expect that the bronze cauldron would have such a strong killing intent. This scene was within the expectations of Lin Xian and Wu Hua. Apart from the soul fixation pearl, there were very few things that could block it. Ah, die for me. The saint of the nine firmament had gone mad. How could he endure such a loss? Swish, the immortal palace above his head opened again, and another beam of divine light swept down. This divine light was even more intense than the previous ones. What was that? Lin Xian felt a chill run down his spine when he felt this light. Wu Hua's expression was solemn. They felt a threat to their lives. This should be the saint of the nine firmaments trump card. Trump card? Lin Xian frowned. The saint of the nine firmament actually had such a terrifying trump card. It seemed that he couldn't underestimate any saint or saintess. Clang! A beam of divine light crashed into the bronze cauldron in front of them, making a shocking sound. The surrounding void instantly shattered. 3 cracks appeared on the bronze cauldron. So powerful! Lin Xian and Wu Hua were shocked. At this time, the Black Yak also roared. He pulled out the 2 horns on his head and threw them out. Like 2 heavenly knives, they crashed into the bronze cauldron again. Clang, clang, bang, boom. Another 2 shocking collisions. The Holy Land martial artists behind them screamed crazily. It couldn't be helped. This sound was too terrifying. Even the Black Yak and the Saint of the Nine Firmament were pale and spat out blood again. The only ones who were unharmed were Wu Hua and Lin Xian. The 2 of them were enveloped by the soul-anchoring pearl, blocking this shocking killing intent. The collision of the 2 horns caused more cracks to appear on the bronze cauldron. The human face inside was also torn into pieces. With a boom, the bronze cauldron cracked open, and a black hole quickly formed. Great, it finally broke open. Behind them, the Holy Land martial artists breathed a sigh of relief. But at this time, they felt a wave of dizziness. It wasn't just them. The Saint of the Nine Firmament, the Black Yak, Lin Xian, and Wu Hua all felt the same. At the place where the bronze cauldron exploded, a black vortex appeared. It grew bigger and bigger and finally enveloped everyone. The world spun. It was as if thousands of years had passed, but it also felt like an instant. Finally, Lin Xian and the others regained consciousness. Buzz! The dragon sword field enveloped them, and the dragon sword's spirit roared. Lin Xian was the first to wake up. Beside him, Wu Hua, the Saint of the Nine Firmament, the Black Yak, and the other Holy Land martial artists also woke up. They realized that they were back. This was still the secret room. The 8 trigrams array under their feet had been broken. In front of them was the bronze cauldron with a headless corpse. We're back. We're finally out. The people of the Nine Firmament Holy Land and the Yin-Yang sect cried tears of joy. They felt like they had survived a disaster. The Saint of the Nine Firmament and the Black Yak stared coldly at Lin Xian and Wu Hua because the 2 of them were still holding the 2 bronze cauldrons in their hands. What had happened before? Was it an illusion, or did they really enter a strange space? Lin Xian didn't know now. They were not injured at all, including those from the Nine Firmament Holy Land who were injured before. There were no injuries on their bodies. This made Lin Xian suspect that it was an illusion. But he and Wu Hua clearly had 2 bronze cauldrons in their hands. If it was really an illusion, how could they bring things out of the illusion? Therefore, Lin Xian was very suspicious now. But the 2 of them couldn't care so much. There were too many strange things, and they couldn't understand at all. Whoosh! He and Wu Hua put away the bronze cauldrons. Damn it! Hand over the treasure. the saint of the nine firmament, and the black yak couldn't bear it anymore. There must be a shocking treasure in such a terrifying bronze cauldron. Moreover, there were two cauldrons. The two of them each had one. The saint of the nine firmament charged toward Lin Xian, and the black yak charged toward Wu Hua. For a time, the battle between the four saints broke out. "Damn brat, stay here!" The saint of the nine firmament rushed up, and the immortal palace above his head bobbed up and down. But this time, he didn't shoot out that immortal light. It seemed that that was his trump card, and he wouldn't use it easily. There must be some kind of restriction. Lin Xian didn't care if he didn't use his trump card. The two of them fought until the sky fell and the earth cracked. On the other side, the black yak and Wu Hua were the same. Boom. In front of them, the bronze cauldron in the center of the 8 trigrams array trembled. A wave of energy spread out. Chapter 2492. In front of them, the bronze cauldron in the center of the 8 trigrams formation trembled. A wave of energy spread out. Feeling this energy, the surrounding martial artists felt their scalps go numb. The martial artists from the Holy Lands all retreated, not daring to go forward. Even the 9th firmament saint, the black yak, and Lin Xian stopped attacking. They looked at the bronze cauldron in shock. Damn it, there wouldn't be another change. Would there? They were scared. They didn't want to enter some mysterious space again. So, everyone quietly retreated. Crack. Another trembling sound was heard. Lin Xian, no flower, and the others found that the headless corpse in the bronze cauldron moved. No way. How many years ago was this person? And his head was chopped off. How could he be revived after being dead for so long? They didn't dare to imagine. This was the corpse of an invincible king. Once it was revived, who knew how terrifying it would be? No flower's expression changed. He pointed forward and said in a panic, "Not good. Retreat." "What's wrong? Is there really a mutation?" Lin Xian frowned and retreated to the back with Wu Hua. No flower's face was pale. "No, there's something under the headless corpse." "What?" "There's something else." Lin Xian was stunned. The 9th firmament saint and the black yak's eyelids twitched. They thought the invincible king's corpse was going to mutate, but they didn't expect that to be the case. "What's down there? Is it more terrifying than an invincible king?" They didn't dare to think about it anymore. No flower's face was pale. He didn't retreat. Instead, he stood there with one hand pointing to the sky and the other to the ground. His body shone with Buddhist light as he formed a strange seal. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. This was the same seal that had shocked the 10,000-year-old vengeful spirit. They hoped that this time they could successfully intimidate this unknown thing. Sure enough, as soon as the seal appeared, the trembling in the bronze cauldron stopped. Boom. However, something even more unexpected happened. They found that the 8 trigrams formation under their feet suddenly cracked, and a large black hole appeared, swallowing them again. Rays of light lit up as Lin Xian and the others opened their king domains. However, what made them heave a sigh of relief was that they did not enter the strange space this time. Instead, they were once again in the passage. It seemed that they should leave. "Brother Wu Hua, let's split up." Lin Xian transmitted his voice. He turned into a beam of sword light and rushed into the distance. There were many forks in the passage ahead. He and Wu Hua each chose one to enter. "You want to leave?" "Not so easy." The saint child of the 9 firmaments once again charged over. The black yak was similarly overflowing with killing intent as he chased after no flower. The 4 of them moved very quickly and left the remaining Holy Land cultivators in the dust. Whoosh, whoosh. 2 beams of light flashed quickly in the dark tunnel. They were Lin Xian and the 9 firmament saint. The 2 of them, one at the front and one at the back kept chasing each other. With a flash of lightning, Lin Xian appeared in a palace. This hall was very spacious. He looked around and found that there was no danger. Lin Xian stopped in his tracks. He stood in the air above the hall and looked down. That damned saint son of the 9 firmament actually dared to chase after him. It was time to deal with him. Break! The saint son of the 9 firmament also came into the hall. Seeing that the other party did not run away, he revealed a sinister smile. Kid, hand over the treasure, and I will spare your life. If you want the treasure, use your strength to speak. Boom! Lin Xian stretched out his palm. Countless icy auras surrounded his palm. It was like a world of ice and snow, mercilessly pressing down. Crack, crack, crack. Countless frost, wind, and snow appeared in the space of the hall, wanting to freeze everything. The saint son of the 9 firmament bore the brunt. Thick ice formed under his feet and on his body. Get lost! With a cold snort, endless energy erupted from his body and shattered all the ice and snow. The immortal palace above his head appeared and froze the space around him. You want to stop me with this little bit of ice? You must be dreaming. The saint son of the 9 firmament sneered. Lin Xian did not answer at all. He formed a seal with his palm, and ice swords appeared in the ice. Bang, 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 bang. They pierced the sky and destroyed everything. The saint son of the 9 firmament's defense was penetrated in an instant. Damn it! The saint son of the 9 firmament's expression changed. He felt a peerless, murderous intent. Bang! He punched out, shattering all the ice arrows. But then the ground under his feet trembled, and the void cracked. An ice dragon broke out of the ground and circled around him, binding him tightly. Terrifying cold air and icy murderous intent spread out and corroded his body. If it were not for the immortal palace, he would have frozen to death. Even so, he and the entire immortal palace were frozen together. The divine fire of the 9 firmament had turned into heaven and earth. Flames began to spread out from the saint son of the 9 firmament. They burned fiercely and melted the ice around him. At the same time, the divine fire formed a fire qilin and fought with the ice dragon in the air. Swoosh! Lin Xian waved his hand, and the ice around him turned into ice phoenixes, ice snakes, ice tigers, and all kinds of strange demon beasts. They charged forward. Boom, 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 boom. The divine fire around the saint son of the 9 firmament was terrifying. It burned fiercely and blocked everything. Buzz! He activated the immortal palace and charged forward, shattering all the ice. He charged toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian sneered. You want to fight me in close combat? You're courting death. He pulled out the ancient Dragon Abyss sword and used the 5 killer moves of the Wanton Heaven Destroyer sword. Bang, 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 bang. The 5 killer moves all landed on the saint son of the 9 firmament, forcing him to keep retreating. He spat out mouthfuls of blood. His face was pale, and the flames on his body were extinguished. Lin Xian was taken aback as well. Even an unparalleled, mighty figure would probably be torn apart by his killer moves. But the other party only spat out mouthfuls of blood and did not tear apart. The other party's physique was stronger than he had expected. I'm going to kill you. The saint son of the 9 firmament was mad. The energy in his body continued to explode, and the immortal palace above his head shone with a mysterious light. A terrifying aura emerged from the immortal palace. Feeling the change in the aura, Lin Xian frowned. He had seen a beam of immortal light from the immortal palace before. It was life-threatening, so he did not dare to be careless. Whoosh! The dragon sword realm above his head turned into an azure dragon. The realm released thousands of sword lights, cutting off everything and destroying the void. The 2 superpowers collided in the air, and the sound spread far and wide. Whoosh, whoosh. In the distance, more than a dozen figures flew toward them. As soon as they entered, they were blasted back. The energy shockwaves inside were not something they could withstand. These people only watched from the entrance, and their faces were full of shock. This is the saint son of the Nine Firmament, right? He's actually fighting with someone. It's him, Lin Xian, the master of the Immortal Palace. Why are the two of them fighting? This was normal. The two of them had always been at odds. The surrounding people were discussing. Lin Xian's sword qi was so terrifying. There were probably not many people in the younger generation who could release such sharp sword qi. What kind of sword technique was that? Was it the Immortal Palace's secret superpowers? Chapter 2493. It was too terrifying. Many people exclaimed in surprise. However, some of the older generation cultivators were even more astonished. The Immortal Palace was the ultimate technique of the Nine Heavens' holy ground. It was rumored that the Nine Heavens' holy ground's grand mystique, when cultivated to the end, could form a nine-layered immortal palace. He wondered what level the Ninth Firmament Saint was using now. At this moment, the palace above the Saint of the Nine Firmament shone brightly. The energy was like a vast ocean surging forward. Judging from its power, it should be the third level of the celestial palace. An expert exclaimed. 3 layers of immortal palaces? Lin Xian coldly snorted. Holding the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand, he undid the 2 layers of seals on the ancient sword and resisted. 10,000 streaks of light shone, and a heaven-shocking sound erupted. The void in front of them was shattered, and everything was blasted apart. He actually managed to block the 3rd layer of the Immortal Palace. This Immortal Palace's palace master was too terrifying, right? How could his sword energy be so powerful? The cultivators in the passage exclaimed, unable to believe the scene in front of them. Damn brat, I don't believe that you can block my second attack. The Saint of the Ninth Firmament clenched his teeth and roared. He activated the celestial palace above his head again. At the same time, 9 palm shadows appeared in the sky and surrounded the celestial palace. 9 heavens' divine palm. 9 resplendent palms floated up and down in the sky before slamming down mercilessly, shattering the void. The surrounding people trembled. They could feel a shocking killing intent coming from the palm. The Nine Firmament's divine palm was the ultimate technique of the Nine Firmament's holy ground. Combined with the attack of the Immortal Palace, the power was so strong that it defied the heavens. It seemed that the Saint of the Nine Firmaments was really angry. At this moment, the Saint of the Nine Heavens descended from the sky like a god of death. Lin Xian struck out with the 5 elements sword art: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth elemental sword qi weaved through the air. The sword qi also caused the expressions of the surrounding experts to change. Boom, boom. The 9 heavens' divine palm was incomparably terrifying. It descended from the sky like a divine palm that could destroy the world. Lin Xian brandished his ancient sword and unleashed the 5 elements sword technique to contend against it. Sword qi crisscrossed, divine light danced, and a terrifying murderous aura swept across the world. The two of them exchanged 10 moves, and the 9 shocking strikes of the 9 heavens' divine palm were actually completely blocked. Not only that, the other party didn't seem to have received any damage. This was too inconceivable. This was a world-shaking divine ability, the 9 Firmament's divine palm, and it was actually shattered by 9 swords. No one dared to believe it. The Saint of the 9 Firmament looked gloomy. He realized that ordinary attacks were useless. Even if he used his ultimate technique, he would not be able to do anything to the other party. Damn it, looks like I can only use my trump card. Kid, I admit that you're very strong, Ordinary attacks and divine abilities can't hurt you at all. However, do you think that's all I have? I will let you experience my true strength." At this point, the 9 firmament saints' eyes lit up. His hands quickly formed a seal, and his body emitted a powerful aura. The immortal palace above his head became even more dazzling. Crack! A low voice rang out as a door slowly opened in one of the celestial palaces. What? The door of the immortal palace can be opened? What was going on? The experts in the surrounding passageways were also stunned when they saw this scene. They had never heard of this before. From the looks of it, this should be the 9th firmament saint's trump card. But what exactly was in the immortal palace? Was it about to appear? Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. He had seen the immortal light in the immortal palace before. It could be said that it was unusually sharp and made him feel as if his life was in danger. Therefore, when he saw the door of the immortal palace open, he did not dare to be careless. The great dragon sword soul in his body circled and transformed into a dragon shadow that coiled around his body. Swoosh! A beam of immortal light cut through time and space. It flew out from the door of the immortal palace and charged forward. This beam of light was too fast and too dazzling. Before the people around could react, there was a loud boom in front of them. Then Lin Xian was sent flying. Heavens, what happened? What was that light? Did it come from the immortal palace? That kid was sent flying, and he was bleeding. He must have been seriously injured. Could it be that he was killed in a single move? That's possible. The immortal light that flew out from the immortal palace was definitely a fatal blow. Even the saint would be killed if he was careless. How dare you fight with me? Now you know how powerful I am. You don't know what death is. Seeing his opponent vomit blood and fly backward, the 9 firmament saints smiled cruelly. He strode forward, and the immortal palace above his head became even more dazzling. At that moment, he was like a celestial king. He came before Lin Xian and looked down on him. Now, go to hell for me. The 9 firmament saint raised his hand, and endless power surged. However, at that moment, Lin Xian, who had been lying motionless on the ground, raised his head. The corners of his mouth curled up in a cold smile. Oh no! Seeing his opponent's smile, the 9 firmament saint's heart skipped a beat. He realized that he had been tricked. A sense of danger welled up in his heart. The 9 firmament saint quickly retreated. Buzz. However, he was still too late. This was a trap that Lin Xian had carefully set up. How could he let his opponent escape? He swung his sword. The ancient dragon abyss sword turned into a giant dragon and slashed out. Splat! Blood spurted out and dyed the sky red. An arm flew off. The 9 firmament saint screamed. His hair was disheveled, and he seemed to have gone mad. Ah, my arm! What? Everyone in the passageway was stunned. What happened? The 9 firmament saint was injured, and his arm was chopped off? What was going on? The situation had changed so quickly that they were completely confused. In front, Lin Xian slowly stood up. The great dragon sword soul flickered on his body. There was a beam of immortal light in the dragon's head. It was the fatal blow that the 9 firmament saint had delivered. However, the great dragon sword soul had caught it. Therefore, Lin Xian did not suffer much damage. The blood was also deliberately caused by him. His goal was to bait the 9 firmament saint and make him let down his guard. That way, he would be able to succeed. Sure enough, he chopped off his opponent's arm. Ah, damn brat, I'm going to kill you. The 9 firmament saint roared crazily. He grabbed the severed arm with his palm and reconnected it. His body glowed, and the severed arm was once again intact. However, the 9 firmament saint's face was extremely ferocious. He really could not understand how his opponent had caught his beam of immortal light. Do you think you're the only one with a trump card? Lin Xian sneered. Although his opponent's immortal light was powerful, He was too naive to think that he could kill him with it. Brat, you forced me to do this. No matter what price I have to pay, I want you dead today. The 9 Firmament Saints' voice was cold. A terrifying, murderous aura surrounded all directions. The experts in the passageway were so frightened that they trembled. Heavens, could it be that the 9 Firmament Saints still had a trump card? That was for sure. After all, he was the saint of the 9 Firmaments' sacred ground. He had many cards in his hands. The Immortal Light was probably not his only trump card. That's right. Everyone guessed correctly. The 9 Firmament Saint did have a trump card. Moreover, it was an even more powerful trump card. Chapter 2494. The 9th Firmament Saint's expression was cold as the immortal palace above his head bobbed up and down. This time, the door of the immortal palace opened again, and an even more terrifying, murderous intent spread out. Immortal light again? The surrounding experts were shocked. Someone said that it might be 2 beams of immortal light, then its power would be more than doubled. They wondered if the kid could withstand it. 2 beams of immortal light? Lin Xian sneered. He had already received 1 beam, so this immortal light was no threat to him. If he could receive it once, he could receive it a second time. Even if there were 2 beams of immortal light, he was not afraid. Humph, kid, you will regret it. The 9th Firmament Saint sneered as the immortal palace above his head became more and more dazzling. Whoosh. A figure walked out of the immortal palace. What? A figure? There was actually someone living in the immortal palace? The surrounding experts were stunned. No, it shouldn't be a real person. It should be condensed with energy. That's too scary. I thought an immortal had appeared. Immortals were just legends. No one knew if immortals existed in the world. However, the person who walked out of the immortal palace was definitely heaven-defying. I guess that kid might not be able to withstand it. Everyone was discussing intensely. Lin Xian was also stunned. To be honest, he did not expect that it would be a human figure who walked out this time. His face darkened, and his expression was extremely solemn, because the intense murderous intent brought by this figure was even more terrifying than the previous beam of immortal light. What was this figure? Lin Xian did not know, but he felt a chill run down his spine. Damn it, the 9th Firmament Saint actually had such a powerful trump card. Kid, how is it? Are you trembling? Ha 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 ha. This is what you get for provoking me. Even if you kneel down and beg me now, I won't let you go. The 9th Firmament Saint sneered. His face became pale, without a trace of blood. Obviously, using such a trump card was a huge burden on him. Now, go to hell for me. With a roar, the figure who walked out of the immortal palace above moved. Like a ghost, he streaked across the sky and instantly arrived in front of Lin Xian. Boom. With a palm strike, energy whistled and enveloped Lin Xian. With a loud bang, Lin Xian was pushed back, his blood and qi churning inside his body. What a terrifying palm power. Lin Xian was shocked. This was definitely at the level of a saint. Furthermore, it was a very powerful one. If the 9 Firmament Saint attacked again, it would be 2 saints against 1. That kind of situation was much more dangerous than before. However, what surprised Xiaochen was that the 9 Firmament Saint did not charge over. He did not cooperate with the terrifying figure to attack together. What was going on? Could it be that he was very weak now? Or was it because he had used his trump card that he couldn't make a move? Lin Xian couldn't understand. Whoosh. His figure flickered as he used the demigods and semi-devils. His speed suddenly exploded, and he dodged the attack of the immortal palace's shadow. He charged toward the 9 Firmament Saint. Seeing this, the celestial palace above the saint's head circled around him, blocking the shocking attack. It's useless, kid. Don't even think about killing me. With the celestial palace around, you can't kill me at all. As expected, Lin Xian was pushed back by the celestial palace. The figure charged over again. Xiao Chun was entangled with the figure. So that's how it is. I really can't attack. Seeing this, Lin Xian completely relaxed. The 9 firmament saint couldn't attack. There was only one figure. Although it was extremely powerful, it couldn't do anything to him. It's just a figure, and you want to kill me? What a joke. Today, I'll show you that your so-called trump card is nothing in front of me. Lin Xian's voice resounded in all directions. Nothing in front of you? You really don't know what's good for you. Kid, keep being stubborn. You'll know later how powerful this figure is. The 9 firmament saint didn't care at all. This figure was even more terrifying than the immortal light. It could even kill a saint. However, to use it, he had to pay a huge price. First, the energy in his body was almost exhausted. Moreover, he couldn't attack now. Therefore, unless it was a last resort, the 9 firmament saint didn't want to use this trump card. But now, he was forced into a corner. Even if he was weakened, he had to kill his opponent. Buzz. Sure enough, the figure was expressionless. It charged at Lin Xian like a flickering light. The monstrous aura made people tremble. Heavens, this is definitely the combat strength of a saint. This figure was really too terrifying. The 9 firmament saint was indeed terrifying. Moreover, this figure was not afraid of attacks or death at all. It could be said that it was indomitable. I wonder how that kid will block it. Everyone was talking about it. They all looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian let out a long roar. Sword chi erupted from his body. His invisible combat strength increased. He held the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand and swept through the surroundings like a sword god. Dragon-shaped sword chi surged. Sword chi filled the sky. 1 slash, 2 slashes, 3 slashes. Lin Xian didn't talk nonsense. His combat strength increased infinitely. Each slash was stronger than the previous one. At the 9th slash, heaven and earth exploded. The figure from the celestial palace was sent flying. Countless cracks appeared on its body as if it was about to shatter. He was so powerful. The surrounding people were shocked. The 9 firmament saint's scalp went numb. He didn't expect that his trump card would be shattered by his opponent. How was that possible? Why was his opponent's combat strength stronger than before? He couldn't believe it. Damn it! With a roar, the 9 firmament saint couldn't care less. His figure flashed, and he rushed forward. He merged with the figure from the celestial palace. When the two of them merged, an earth-shattering power erupted and swept through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Whoosh! A crack appeared in the void. The 9 firmament saint appeared again. His aura was much stronger than before. Kid, go to hell. After merging with the mysterious figure, the 9 firmament saint attacked again. He slapped out, causing Lin Xian to vomit blood and fly backward. This time, I won't give you any chance. The 9 firmament saint's voice was cold. He swore that he would kill Lin Xian. After succeeding in one move, he attacked again. Countless rays of light above his head were like heavenly blades, attacking Lin Xian. The 9 firmament divine palm appeared again. Bang! Bang! Lin Xian was sent flying again, spitting blood from the corner of his mouth. However, the aura on his body became extremely fierce. The dragon sword spirit roared. Lin Xian unlocked the 3rd seal on the ancient dragon abyss sword. Do you think you're the only one with a trump card? Today, I'll let you see my trump card. With a swing of the sword, heaven and earth dimmed, and the celestial palace was sent flying. With the 2nd slash, the 9 firmament saint was sent flying. Damn it, he was actually so powerful. The 9 firmament saint's skin went numb. He turned around and left. He didn't dare to continue fighting because he had merged with the figure and used his trump card. After such a long time, he still couldn't take down his opponent. His opponent's combat strength was getting stronger and stronger. He didn't dare to delay. If he stayed any longer, he would probably become weak. Therefore, he was ready to retreat. His figure flashed, and he flew into the distance. Chapter 2495. However, Lin Xian would not let him go. He waved his hands, and the ancient sword exploded again. A ball of fiery light appeared. A sword shadow fell from the sky and tore the void apart. Poof! The sword split the 9 firmament saints' body in half. Blood splattered everywhere. The saint of the 9 firmament floated in the sky. Blood and internal organs flowed out. What? The saint of the 9 firmament was killed. Everyone went crazy. They could not believe it. That was the saint of the 9 firmament. How could he be killed just like that? If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would not have believed it. Whoosh! Lin Xian resealed the ancient dragon abyss sword. His face was a little pale. He looked ahead and furrowed his brows. He realized that the body that had been split in half did not die. Instead, it merged again and was taken into the immortal palace. The immortal palace emitted a mysterious light. It turned into a stream of light and disappeared. Only a voice was left in the world. Damned brat, I'll remember today's sword. I'll return it to you in the future. Humph! The next time we meet, I'll kill you with my own hands. Lin Xian replied coldly. He did not chase after the saint of the 9 firmament. The immortal palace was too mysterious. He could not break it with his current strength. However, it was enough this time. He had killed the saint of the 9 firmament. Even if the saint of the 9 firmament did not die, his combat strength would be greatly reduced. It was impossible for him to return to his peak in a short period of time. It could be said that he had killed a powerful enemy. Whoosh! Lin Xian exhaled slowly and landed. He looked around and said coldly, "Why? How long do you want to watch? Get lost. Otherwise, don't blame me for killing." His cold voice blasted the void. The people in the passage felt their scalps go numb. Many of them turned around and ran. What a joke! The saint of the 9 firmament had been killed. They did not dare to stay. However, not everyone ran away. 3 figures did not leave. Instead, they came to the palace. Seeing the scene, the people that were fleeing also stopped and turned their heads to look. What are these people trying to do? Are they going to fight? Lin Xian furrowed his brows when he saw the 3 figures approaching. What? Do the 3 of you want to die? Kid, you don't have to threaten us. Those 3 sword strikes were powerful, but you must have used up too much energy to use your trump card. How many battles do you have left? Do you think you're bluffing to scare us off? Do you think that's possible? The 9 firmament saint's son wants to kill you for the treasure, right? Hand over the treasure you obtained, and the 3 of us can let you live. Otherwise, you will lose your life here today. You're courting death. How dare you 3 ants try to snatch my treasure? Lin Xian snorted coldly, his eyes bursting with piercing sword light. Ants. Brat, you're really blind. We just don't want to reveal our identities. Do you really think we're ants? The auras of the 3 of them suddenly erupted like a mountain torrent, enveloping the entire sky. This power was simply too strong. This was definitely an expert. So valiant. Who were these 3 people? In the passageway, the remaining people were extremely surprised. They found that the 3 of them were shrouded in black fog, and they couldn't see clearly. Thinking about it, he must have done so in order to conceal his identity. A guy who doesn't even dare to show his face dares to be arrogant in front of me? Lin Xian looked at the 3 of them, and a murderous intent appeared in his eyes. Indeed, unlocking the 3rd level of the ancient sword had consumed a lot of his energy. However, not everyone could target him. Since you're not cooperating, don't blame the 3 of us for being impolite. The man in black in the middle sneered. He stretched out his large hand, covering the sky and earth, and grabbed in front of him. Buzz, poof! Lin Xian attacked decisively. He swung his sword and slashed at the large palm. With a bang, the palm was split open. Blood turned into a rain of blood and fell. That person grunted and retracted his palm. Damn it! Let's attack together and kill him! The three of them were shocked. They didn't expect the other party to have such strength after using his trump card. It seemed that they had to go all out. The three of them turned into three phantoms and charged over in a triangular formation. The ancient dragon abyss sword swept out and forced two of them back. The other person came to Lin Xian's side. Whoosh! A black longsword appeared in the hand of the man in black. The sword light shone, sending chills down one's spine. Hee hee, die kid. The man in black sneered. The killing intent on his body surged. The sword was about to stab him. Buzz, suddenly, his body trembled because he saw a pair of golden eyes. What kind of eyes were those? They carried endless power. In an instant, the man in black was stunned. He felt his soul being sucked into a strange space. Bang, Lin Xian punched out and exploded the man's head. The headless corpse fell to the ground, dyeing the ground red. What? How could this be? How could he be so powerful? Damn it, it's a soul attack. Let's go. The remaining two men in black turned around and ran. Initially, they thought that the other party was very weak, so they joined forces. However, even though the other party was weak, he was not someone they could fight against. Therefore, the two of them quickly ran away. In an instant, the two of them entered the passage and were about to disappear. Buzz, suddenly, the two of them stopped in midair and screamed miserably. This scene was extremely strange because the others could clearly see that the two of them did not suffer any injuries. However, the two of them screamed like pigs being slaughtered, causing one's scalp to go numb. 3 seconds later, the two of them stiffened and fell to the ground. Their eyes were wide open, and there was no trace of life. Anyone else who wants to attack me, step forward. Lin Xian's cold voice sounded as he looked around. Hearing this, everyone fled, not daring to stay for even a second. In an instant, everyone in the hall had left. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. He took out 2 pills, swallowed them, and left the hall. Shuttling through the passage, Lin Xian found a remote stone house. There were no treasures inside, and it was very simple. He set up a formation seal. Then his figure flashed and entered the black earth. Hey, two, help me watch the situation outside. I want to cultivate. Lin Xian gave some instructions, then sat down cross-legged. With a flip of his palm, he took out the small bronze cauldron he obtained. The small cauldron was very thick and heavy. Although it was small in size, it was as heavy as a mountain. It was engraved with rune markings, and the top was sealed by countless runes, carrying with it an ancient power. Lin Xian activated the great dragon sword soul, activated Tianji's body, and carefully broke these seals. After about half a day, he finished breaking all these seals. Crack! He opened the small bronze cauldron. In the next moment, his pupils shrank because the moment he opened it, a strange pill fragrance drifted out. Smelling the pill fragrance, Lin Xian felt his entire body warm up. The strength he had consumed was recovering at a very fast speed. What a magical pill! Lin Xian was excited. He had obtained a treasure. Chapter 2496. Just the pill fragrance alone had such an effect. This was definitely a heaven-defying pill. He was also an alchemist, so he naturally knew the effects of this pill. Not to mention him, even an invincible king would be greatly tempted. With a wave of his palm, a pill floated out of the small bronze cauldron. The purple pill was the size of a longan fruit. It was covered with pill patterns and was very mysterious. Lin Xian couldn't understand it. However, it didn't matter if he didn't understand it, as long as it was effective. With a flip of his palm, he swallowed this purple pill. But as soon as he swallowed it, his eyes widened, and there was even a trace of regret. He was too careless. The power of this pill was far beyond his imagination. At this moment, it was like a furnace of heaven and earth, burning fiercely in his body. That violent energy turned into a turbulent sea, swimming in his meridians as if it wanted to burst his body. Damn it, suppress it! Lin Xian roared and quickly ran the longevity incantation. The longevity incantation was very magical, crazily absorbing the energy in his body. However, this energy was far beyond Lin Xian's imagination. There was too much, like a vast sea, endless. This surprised Lin Xian. He knew that he had underestimated this pill. This pill from tens of thousands of years ago was really too terrifying. The grade was probably unimaginable. Although his longevity incantation was very mysterious and could absorb infinitely, his body couldn't bear it. Thinking of this, Lin Xian's eyes flashed with a fierce light. He quickly urged the dragon sword soul, and at the same time absorbed the energy in his body to awaken. The dragon sword soul was an offensive saint technique with unlimited potential, but it was still in the growth stage at this moment. Lin Xian was now in the early 7-star stage, and he could fight against an early 8-star peerless mighty figure. If the dragon sword soul went all out, it could even fight against a mid-8-star peerless mighty figure. Although it was only the difference between the mid-stage and early stage, the real strength could be said to be the difference between heaven and earth. A mid-8-star, peerless mighty figure could easily kill a few early 8-star powerhouses. The gap between them was huge. With the absorption of the dragon sword soul, the violent energy in his body was finally diverted. Lin Xian's body also avoided the consequences of exploding. This made him sigh in relief. He formed a seal with both hands and slowly closed his eyes, beginning to absorb the energy in his body with all his might. At the same time, he was looking forward to it. I wonder how far this ancient pill will allow him to advance his cultivation. Lin Xian was cultivating inside the Black Earth. The place where he was staying was very remote, and because of the concealment of the formation, no one disturbed him for a while. Just like that, he quietly absorbed the ancient pill. On the other side, after separating from Lin Xian, no flower was being chased by the Black Yak. This big Black Yak was an elite warrior of the Demon Imperial Palace. His strength was valiant, and he wasn't from the younger generation. Instead, he was a veteran elite warrior. His strength had reached the peak of the early stage of 8 stars, especially that pair of horns. They were absolutely no weaker than a Heaven Step treasured artifact. Therefore, the Black Yak was very aggressive in its pursuit. However, no flower was not weak. As the holy son of Lanrua Temple, his strength was incomparably powerful. His cultivation had reached the early stage of 7 stars. His combat strength had reached the early stage of 8 stars. In addition, he had a mysterious bloodline and a precious treasure like the soul-anchoring pearl. Therefore, when he used his full strength, his combat strength was equivalent to a mid-stage 8 stars peerless powerhouse. Although the Black Yak was an early-stage 8 stars powerhouse, his combat strength increase was not as good as no flowers. At full strength, he was only equivalent to a mid-stage 8 stars powerhouse. Therefore, the two were locked in a fierce battle. In the end, no flower directly used another Buddhist great magical power, the demon sealing spell. This was a kind of magical power that was specially used against the demon race. It had a strong restraining effect on the demon race. However, it was very difficult to cultivate. Moreover, once this magical power was used, it would also produce a vicious aura. One must go into seclusion to cultivate Buddhist doctrine in order to eliminate the vicious aura. Therefore, unless it was a last resort, these Buddhists were not willing to use it. At this moment, no flower was being chased anxiously, so he used it without hesitation. As soon as the demon sealing spell was used, the black yak's strength was sealed and suppressed. In the end, he was defeated and quickly fled. No flower breathed a sigh of relief. He moved and found a quiet place to open his small bronze cauldron. In addition, other warriors were looking for opportunities on their own. Of course, most of them were running for their lives because there were too many traps and arrays in this ancient tomb. However, there was one thing that spread like wildfire. That was the 9 firmaments saint was slashed by a sword. This battle was seen by more than a dozen Holy Land warriors, so in the end, the news spread. And it spread more and more widely. For a time, many Holy Land warriors were talking about it. And in the ancient tomb, the first thing that those warriors who met asked about was that the 9 firmaments saint was slashed by a human. They all wanted to confirm whether it was true or not, because it was too shocking. God, was the 9 firmaments saint really slashed by a sword? What kind of ruthless person was this, to be so terrifying? Was the 9 firmaments saint dead? The people of the 9 firmaments Holy Land were going crazy. The 9 firmaments saint was not dead. Although he was slashed in half, his body was taken away by the immortal palace. He should be able to survive. However, it was not that easy to recover. Who was it? How could he be so strong? Could it be an elder of a holy land? No, it was Lin Xian, the temple master of the immortal palace. What? The temple master of the immortal palace? How was this possible? Although he was the temple master of the immortal palace, he looked like a young man. He should be a saint of the younger generation. Yes, how could he slash the 9 firmament saint? Could it be that this guy's strength increased greatly? I don't know. Anyway, I saw it with my own eyes. He slashed the 9 firmaments saint in half with a sword. As for whether his strength increased greatly, I don't know. I heard that the 9 firmaments saint was chasing him for a treasure in his hands. Could it be the treasure map of the 6 Tao patterns? No. It seems to be something else. That kid might have gotten other treasures from other places. No way. This kid's luck is too good. He got the treasure map of the 6 Tao patterns, and he got other treasures? Indeed, it was enough to make people jealous. However, his strength was indeed shocking. The 9 firmaments saint was so terrifying that even a mysterious phantom walked out of the immortal palace, but he could not defeat him. Other than the top saints with sacred bodies and divine bodies, no one could defeat him. That was not necessarily true. Although the 9 firmament saint was a saint, he was only at the average level among the various saints. The geniuses of the other holy lands had many trump cards. If they really attacked, that kid would definitely not be able to resist. Discussions broke out. However, no matter what, the fact that the 9 firmaments saint was slashed in half by Lin Xian was still shocking. Everyone who heard it felt their scalps go numb. In the end, this matter was still known by the 9 firmaments Holy Land martial artists. Chapter 2497. In the end, the 9 Heavens Sacred Ground martial artists found out about this. One of the teams had a total of 7 people. 2 elders were leading the team, and the remaining 5 were young disciples. When they heard the news, it was like a bolt from the blue, and they were stunned. What? Their holy son had been struck by someone. Was he killed? They were all panicking. If the 9 Heavens holy son had died here, it would be a big deal. First of all, they could not bear the consequences. They could not answer to the sacred ground. Moreover, they would become the laughingstock of all the sacred grounds. They would not be able to raise their heads again. Moreover, The fall of the Holy Sun would not only damage their reputation, but it would also be a huge blow to the nine heavens' sacred ground. The cost of nurturing a holy son could be said to be heaven-defying. The resources were unimaginable. Therefore, they could not afford it. They quickly asked around and found out that the nine heavens' holy son was not dead. He was still alive. This made them heave a sigh of relief. However, these people were still furious. Damn immortal palace! How dare they kill the holy son of the nine heavens' sacred ground? Is that Lin Xian? We must catch him and tear him to pieces. Yes, no one dares to provoke the nine heavens' sacred ground. No matter who it is, they must pay the price. These martial artists of the nine heavens' sacred ground were murderous. They began to search for Lin Xian everywhere. Of course, they did not forget the most important thing. That was to quickly find the nine heavens' holy son. Although the nine heavens' holy son had not been killed, he must be very weak. If he was targeted by someone else, he would be in danger. Needless to say, there were people who had designs on the nine heavens' holy son. After all, he was a holy son with many treasures in his hands. It could be said that he was a small treasure trove. Normally, no one dared to provoke them, because whether it was their personal strength or their background, they were all frighteningly big. But it was different now. The nine heavens' holy son had been struck by someone. Even if he was still alive, his strength would be greatly reduced. And now, more importantly, he was completely separated from the people of the nine heavens' sacred ground. Now he was alone and helpless. If they made a move now, they could do it secretly and frame Lin Xian and Immortal Palace. It could be said that it was killing many birds with one stone. Therefore, some people really did have such an idea. You two don't need to follow me anymore. Go find the nine firmament saint's son, kill him, and take his things. A young man in a blue robe with a jade-like face said coldly. He stood with his hands behind his back facing the crowd. Behind him, there were two mysterious figures whose faces could not be seen clearly. After receiving the news, the two of them immediately took action. With a sway of their bodies, they turned into two streaks of light and left the area. Saint Son of the Nine Firmament, since you are so weak, don't blame me for being rude. This green-robed figure gradually became hazy and illusory. From afar, it was as if 7 stars were connected together. Soon, he also disappeared into the void. It wasn't just this green-robed man. On the other side, there was a man whose entire body was shining like a fiend god sitting cross-legged. His eyes flickered, but there was no one around him. His hands continued to form seals, and soon a beam of light shot out from his body and turned into a human figure. As soon as the silhouette appeared, its body flickered with the light of a demonic god before it was sucked into its body. Go and kill the Nine Firmament Saint. The figure sitting cross-legged was also surrounded by 108 fiend gods. Her cold voice sounded. The light figure in front of him disappeared. These people were from the other sacred grounds, and they were ready to make a move. However, within the Nine Firmament sacred ground, there were also people who had the same idea. The status of the saint was very special in the sacred ground. He was the number 1 of the younger generation, and if nothing went wrong, he would become the sacred leader of the sacred ground in the future. It could be said that countless people were envious of him. Normally, those Holy Son candidates were not strong enough, but now they finally had an opportunity. Humph, since you have been injured, don't blame me for being rude. This was also a young man with a cold face, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. In the next moment, his body was wrapped in mist, and he also turned into a stream of light and charged out. For a time, many people were looking for the Nine Firmament Saint, wanting to kill him. The elders of the Nine Firmament sacred ground were even crazier. They searched like crazy, and at the same time, sent out assassination teams to assassinate the people of the Immortal Palace. Under their crazy actions, they really succeeded. One of the disciples of the Immortal Palace was killed, and 3 others were injured. However, the people of the 9 firmaments sacred ground did not stop there. Instead, they became more and more aggressive. They even wanted to kill everyone from the Immortal Palace, if not for Morong Qingcheng and Shinjingqiu, who were Sanuses and had 2 super sacred grounds behind them. They would have been killed. These people of the 9 firmaments sacred ground wanted to attack them. Damn it! The martial artists of the Immortal Palace gritted their teeth in anger. They did not expect that the 9 firmaments sacred ground would dare to attack them. What was worse was that they were now scattered, and they could not find elderly Xing Tian and the others. The remaining young disciples were also geniuses, but under the siege of the elders of the 9 firmaments sacred ground, they could not hold on. For a time, they could only hide temporarily and send a distress signal to elderly Xing Tian and the others. However, they were still caught by the 9 firmaments sacred ground. Among them, a team of 7 people surrounded 3 Immortal Palace martial artists. Not good. Run. When the 3 young martial artists of the Immortal Palace saw this, they quickly retreated, wanting to leave. However, among the 7 people, there were 2 elders, and the rest were 5 geniuses. Whether it was strength or numbers, they were far superior to them. Therefore, the 3 martial artists of the Immortal Palace were trapped. Among them, there were 2 men and 1 woman. The 2 men shouted coldly, "Damn it, what are you trying to do? How dare you attack our Immortal Palace? Are you tired of living? What are you trying to do? Of course, we are going to kill you. Your palace master is so reckless, daring to go against our 9 firmaments sacred ground. Now is the time of your death. Not only will I kill you, but I will also kill everyone from the Immortal Palace. I will let your palace master know what regret is. Capture the 3 of them first, and don't let them die so easily. I want to torture them to death. I want to let everyone know that no one dares to provoke us." The 2 elders of the 9 firmament sacred ground gave the order. The 5 young disciples behind them rushed forward, courting death. The 3 young Immortal Palace martial artists roared angrily. They used all of their strength to fight against it. After a great battle, they were still defeated. The 3 of them were injured, and there was not much strength left in their bodies. "Haha, you still want to fight with us? You are really reckless." A disciple of the 9 firmament sacred ground walked forward and trampled one of the martial artists of the Immortal Palace to the ground. Buzz! Dozens of sword lights appeared in his hand, and all of them pierced the body of the Immortal Palace disciple. Chapter 2498. Poof, 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 poof. How is it? Have you tasted pain? Kneel down and beg for mercy. Apologize to the 9 heavens' holy ground. I can give you a quick death. You're courting death. We, Immortal Palace, will not let you off. Just you wait. Our palace master and elders will come to kill you soon. Kill us? Sure. Let them come. We're looking for them." The people of 9 heavens' holy ground sneered. They stabbed a few more times, and blood dyed their bodies red. The martial artist of Immortal Palace struggled madly. Not only him, but his other disciple was also being tortured. The last female disciple was not tortured. However, the other disciples of 9 heavens' holy ground grinned maliciously. "Girl, you're pretty good looking. I wonder how the women of Immortal Palace taste. Don't worry. Yours truly will make you feel good later." At this moment, the martial artists of 9 heavens' holy ground were no longer people of 9 heavens' holy ground. They were clearly a bunch of beasts. "Arg, we, Immortal Palace, will not let you off." The female martial artist screamed madly. Her face was filled with helplessness. There was no one around her. Only two people of nine heavens' holy ground were walking towards her. She wanted to escape. However, the space around her was frozen in an instant. Her energy was frozen as well. The ones who attacked were not disciples of nine heavens' holy ground, but two elders. Under the power of two elders, the female martial artist of a mortal palace could not resist at all. She closed her eyes as tears streamed down her cheeks. She regretted not using her last chance to self-destruct. Who knows, she might have been able to drag two of them down with her. But now, she could not even self-destruct. Poof, poof. I love to see you guys of a mortal palace in despair. This makes me feel good. The two martial artists of nine heavens' holy ground grinned maliciously as they walked towards each other. The other two martial artists of a mortal palace who were lying on the ground howled madly. Damn you, bastard! If you dare to touch her, I will not let you off. Their bodies were covered in blood as they howled madly. Won't let me off? Poof. You guys can't even save yourselves. What do you have to let me off? Is there anyone else here? This is our nine heavens holy ground's territory. As he spoke, one of the nine heavens holy ground disciples grabbed the female cultivator in front of him. Ah, pung, pung. Suddenly, a crack appeared in the void as a red light shot out, slapping the two nine heavens holy lands cultivators away. Endless light shone down as the two nine heavens holy lands cultivators were sent flying, crashing through the void. Half of their bodies were directly smashed open, blood and internal organs spilling all over the ground. Ah, the two of them rolled on the ground, screaming crazily. Light flickered on their bodies as they tried to repair the damage. The remaining people of the nine heavens holy ground were stunned. The two elders' faces darkened. Their gazes pierced through the void like lightning. The remaining three disciples roared madly. Who is it? Get the hell out here. How dare you attack us? Are you tired of living? Angry roars could be heard. Hope appeared in the eyes of the two immortal palace cultivators on the ground. That immortal palace female disciple even more so opened her eyes, her face full of shock. Originally, she had already given up all hope, thinking that it would be very difficult for her to escape the clutches of the devil. But who would have thought that at the very last moment there would be an unforeseen event? Someone had come to save her. Who was it? Was it a strong cultivator from Immortal Palace? The elders of the nine heavens holy lands also thought so. So their expressions were extremely grave. Damn it, you sneaky bastard, get the hell out of here, shouted a disciple furiously. However, as soon as he finished speaking, his body was pierced through. A red claw pierced through his back and directly crushed his heart. Pung! That person fell to the ground, twitching nonstop. The people next to him were scared out of their wits. Damn it! The two elders of the nine heavens holy lands roared furiously and threw a punch at the red claw. Dang! An earth-shattering collision sound spread in the air. Their palms violently slapped the red claw like a golden spear and armored horse. The void around them shattered. The elder took 3 steps back, his face pale. It was as if he had slapped a red mountain. His entire arm was numb. However, what shocked him was that the red claw was completely fine. There was no crack at all. F***CK. How dare you hit Master Long? Do you want to die? Behind them, an arrogant voice sounded, a roar shaking those people. Those people began to tremble, the chi and blood within their bodies roiling. A demonic beast. Could it be a flood dragon? They were shocked. The voice was too strong, like a dragon's roar. It made them tremble. The people of the nine heavens holy lands thought that the people of Beast King Palace had come, but soon they were stunned. That was because they saw a red silhouette walking over. Damn it! Crawling snake! It's the crawling snake from Immortal Palace. They were so angry that they gnashed their teeth. The three cultivators of Immortal Palace were excited. Master Long, hurry up and save us. They naturally recognized that it was the snake beside Master Long. Don't worry, Ben Huang is here. He won't let you be in danger. The crimson dragon waved its claw, and countless red lights flew forward, turning into a cloud and enveloping the three of them. Whoosh! The three of them recovered from their injuries. How magical! Master Long is so powerful. The three cultivators of Immortal Palace were excited. They had never seen the Crimson Dragon fight before. They didn't expect it to have such a magical technique. It was worthy of being Master Long's subordinate. It was really strong. The three of them were too excited. The people of the Nine Heavens Holy Lands, on the other hand, were gloomy. The other party had just appeared and injured two of their disciples, and even killed one of them. This method was too fierce. Moreover, what made them even more worried was whether or not the other party had come alone. If Immortal Palace's army came, they might not be able to escape, but after looking for a long time, other than the other party, no one else appeared. They heaved a sigh of relief. Humph! The two elders revealed a ferocious look. Crawling snake, you actually came alone, and you dare to be arrogant in front of us? Later, we will peel off your snake skin. Not bad. Your claws are also very sharp. It is suitable to be used as a weapon and armor. F***CK. You actually dare to have ideas about Ben Huang. You really don't know your place. The Crimson Dragon was angry. He didn't attack, but waved his claw. 9 lackeys, come over here. 9 lackeys? What was that? Could it be that there was really an ambush? The people of the Nine Heavens Holy Lands were nervous. The 3 disciples of Immortal Palace were also confused. Why was this name so melodramatic? Just as they were confused, more than 10 figures walked out of the passage in front of them. They were very fast. The 9 of them in front even flashed and came to the side of the Crimson Dragon. Master, you are looking for us? What? Seeing this, the people of the Nine Heavens Holy Lands were dumbfounded. The 3 disciples of Immortal Palace also opened their eyes wide in disbelief. Heavens! What did they see? Chapter 2499. The experts from the 9 Holy Lands were half kneeling on the ground, showing great respect to the Crimson Dragon. Am I dreaming? The people from the 9 Heavens Holy Lands were going crazy. What was going on? Wasn't the other party a snake from the Immortal Palace? How could he control the people from the other Holy Lands? Moreover, those experts were half kneeling on the ground. Even the people from the other Holy Lands did not receive such treatment. What was going on? They were all stunned. The 3 from the Immortal Palace were also stunned. They could not understand what was going on. The 9 people kneeling on the ground were naturally the 9 experts that the Crimson Dragon had subdued. These 9 people were tough bones before, but after being tortured by the dark red divine dragon's various methods, these people were afraid. This was because they realized that their bodies and souls could not resist the other party's torture. Since they could not resist, they might as well be obedient lackeys. After all, they also wanted to live. Catch a few of them, but don't kill them. Damn it, how dare they go against Ben Huang? I'm so angry. The Crimson Dragon pointed at the martial artists from the 9 Heavens Holy Lands and said with gritted teeth. Hearing this, the 9 lackeys stood up. Their eyes were cold as they looked forward. Humph! People from the 9 Heavens Holy Lands, kneel down and be our master's pets. If you do, I can spare your lives. One of them said coldly. As he spoke, lightning surrounded his body, and a sea of lightning surged around him. Seeing this, the people from the 9 Heavens Holy Lands were even more stunned. An expert from the 1,000 Thunder Holy Lands. Damn it! How could you submit to a snake? Could it be that you are under an illusion or some kind of restriction? They were really shocked. Humph! Stop talking nonsense and come over here obediently. Another cold voice sounded. This person was from the Five Elements Palace. As he spoke, the five-colored light around his body formed a huge mountain that floated above his head, bringing with it an infinite pressure. People from the Five Elements Palace, people from the Illusion Palace, people from the Four Symbols Holy Lands. Heavens! The people from the Nine Heavens Holy Lands were going crazy. What was going on? Why did the martial artists from the other holy lands become the other party's lackeys? Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and take action. The Crimson Dragon said impatiently. Hearing this, the 9 lackeys didn't dare to hesitate any longer. They all unleashed their ultimate techniques and charged forward. The endless thunder sea, the terrifying Five Elements mountain, the sky full of sword radiance, and the terrifying saber radiance. All of a sudden, the 9 experts made their moves and surrounded the people of the 9 heavens holy ground. How could these people from the 9 heavens holy ground withstand it? Of their 5 young disciples, 1 was killed, 2 were severely injured, and the remaining 2 were scared out of their wits. The other 2 elders also had ugly expressions on their faces. They roared and went crazy, using all their strength to stop him. However, other than the 9 lackeys, there were another 5 or 6 experts waiting for them. The young disciples were subdued in an instant. The 2 old men roared furiously. After all, they were peerless almighties with great strength. However, at this moment, the dark red dragon said, "The 9 of you will deal with 1. Leave the other 1 to me." Whoosh! The battlefield was divided into 2 sides. The Crimson Dragon personally entered the battlefield and displayed the great magical ability of the Dragon Clan. In the sky, countless dragon silhouettes weaved about, fighting a great battle with that elder. In the end, the elder's Crimson Dragon was directly sealed. As for the other elder, he suppressed the 9 lackeys with his strength. He was powerful and took advantage of his injuries, forcing the 9 lackeys to retreat. When he saw one of his companions being sealed, he roared and turned to attack the Crimson Dragon. However, the Crimson Dragon used its great magical ability and attacked. Boom! The elder's hands were directly broken. He was scared out of his wits. Damn it! This snake is too strong. I can't beat it. Moreover, there were other experts around. If he continued to fight, he might very well be sealed. Thinking of this, the elder roared and tore through the void to escape. One of the elders was also caught. One of them escaped. The martial artists of the Immortal Palace were stunned. They didn't expect happiness to come so quickly. Ha ha! This is great. Looking at the people of the 9 heavens holy ground who were sealed, the 3 of them were filled with killing intent. Among them, 2 of the male disciples directly kicked the elder's face. Damn it! I'll let you be arrogant. I'll let you attack again. Their feet kicked the other party's face, making a sonorous sound, shaking their feet until they were numb. Damn old gang noobs. Old bastard. How thick-skinned. The martial artists of the Immortal Palace were so angry that they gritted their teeth. They were only at the almighty level and couldn't break through the defense of a peerless almighty. However, so what if they couldn't break through? It was very satisfying to be able to step on the other party's face. Sure enough, the elder of the 9 heavens holy ground was so angry that he vomited blood. Their hair stood up, the veins on their bodies were bulging, and their bodies were filled with killing intent. Unfortunately, he was sealed by the Crimson Dragon with an ancient seal. In addition, he was seriously injured and couldn't escape at all. Not only that, the Crimson Dragon was not at ease and even injured his soul. In this way, the elder completely lost the ability to resist. Come. Don't be shy. Step on me to your heart's content. You can step on me however you want, the Crimson Dragon said very heroically. Sure enough, other than the elder, the remaining disciples also received special treatment. Their faces were trampled into mush. Whoosh! The Crimson Dragon waved its claws, and their faces were healed again. Their faces were smashed, and they were healed again. Their faces were smashed, and they were healed again. Just like that, dozens of times, these people were on the verge of collapse. They finally experienced what was called despair, what was worse than death. The 9 lackeys at the side sneered. Now, they knew how they were treated. Now, they knew why they were so strong and were reduced to lackeys. They couldn't help it. No one could bear this kind of torture. Damn it. How dare you touch us? You're dead. The 9 heavens' holy ground will never let you go, the elder roared angrily. As a dignified elder, he had never been treated like this before. What was even more despicable was that a few juniors were trampling on his face. Although they couldn't hurt him, the way the soles of their shoes touched his face drove him crazy. He swore that as long as he escaped, he would tear these people into pieces. He would make them suffer a fate worse than death. F***CK, you dared to threaten me just now. What's with that look in your eyes? One of the disciples of the immortal palace directly slapped over, causing the void to tremble. His arm was numb, and the surrounding space was cracked. The elder's face didn't shatter, but there was a clear palm print on his face. F***CK. This is so F***king awesome. Come. The 2 of you give it a try. The disciples seemed to have discovered a new world and hurriedly called out to the other 2. The other 2 disciples also walked up. They also gave it a try and found that it was indeed satisfying. For a moment, the 3 of them were very busy. The void trembled and thunder rumbled. Chapter 2500. The elder fainted from anger. Damn it, how could they be so weak? The Crimson Dragon curled its lips and looked at the remaining 4 disciples of the 9 heavens' sacred ground. The 2 whose bodies had been smashed had also recovered. They were extremely weak. Looking at the Crimson Dragon, they trembled. The Crimson Dragon came to the side of the 2. These 2 were the ones who wanted to humiliate you. The female martial artist nodded, and a murderous look appeared in her eyes. Very well, I'll give you a chance. The Crimson Dragon waved its claws, and a sharp sword appeared in the air. You can turn them into eunuchs with your own hands. What? Hearing this, the 2 martial artists of the 9 heavens' sacred ground turned green. They felt a chill down their legs, and a huge fear appeared in their hearts. What? Eunuch? Damn it, no. You can't do this to us. Please, let us go. You can step on me, but you can't turn me into a eunuch. Do you still need lackeys? I can be your lackey. The 2 of them screamed, crazily. They were unwilling to be tortured like this. One had to know that this was something that no man would be willing to do. However, the female disciple's eyes lit up when she heard this. Did you think of letting me go back then? She was not a weak little girl, but an expert who had experienced hundreds of battles. If not for the Crimson Dragon, she could not imagine what would have happened to her. Therefore, now that he had the chance to take revenge, how could he be soft-hearted? With a sneer, the female disciple grabbed the sharp sword in the air. The aura on her body exploded like a flood. The biting, cold, murderous aura pierced through the clouds, forming countless swords in the sky. No, Beauty, you can't do this to me. I was wrong before. I was just fooling around with you. The 2 of them cried as they spoke. We can't do anything. We are also disciples, and we can only listen to our elder. If there's anything, you can look for our elder. They were about to cry. Anyway, their elder had fainted now. He could not hear this. They quickly pushed the blame to their elder. Seeing the scene, the 9 lackeys beside him felt goosebumps all over their bodies. F***CK. This guy was too shameless. He actually dared to push the blame to the elder. Fortunately, their elder had fainted from anger. Otherwise, he would probably explode from anger if he heard those words. Thinking about how they had been treated in the past, and then looking at the current situation, the 9 lackeys felt that they had been so happy before. Now, you know how to beg for mercy? It's too late. That female disciple didn't care at all. She waved her sharp sword and pierced through the void. One of them screamed miserably. Blood was gushing out of his vital parts. That feeling of shattering was 100 times more intense than any other pain. Hearing the sound that sounded like a pig being slaughtered, the other male martial artists felt their scalps go numb. However, that female disciple was indeed very excited. She turned her head again to look at the other person. The man's body started to tremble. He quickly knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. I beg you to spare me. I won't dare to do it again. I'll work like a horse for you. I'll be your lackey. Okay? What a joke. Seeing his companion hovering between life and death, he didn't want to suffer. However, the answer was definitely no. That female martial artist from Immortal Palace kicked him to the ground and then waved her sword. Another scream sounded. The 2 9 Heavens holy ground martial artists who weren't tortured fainted from fear. It was too cruel. They couldn't bear to watch it. The 9 lackeys were also scared. However, that female disciple from Immortal Palace was very satisfied. This feeling of revenge was simply too satisfying. All right, wake them up and let them be our new lackeys. Then, let's set off. The Crimson Dragon waved her hand, and the 9 lackeys immediately woke up the 9 Heavens holy ground martial artists who had fainted. When that elder and disciple found out that they had also become the new lackeys, they had the urge to vomit blood. Damn it, after being beaten so much and suffering so much, they still couldn't escape the fate of becoming a lackey. However, they didn't dare to resist because they were afraid that the other party would stab them in the vital parts. The group set off again. On the other side, the 9 Heavens holy ground elder who had escaped was so angry that he was gnashing his teeth. He was really mad. He didn't run away. Instead, he hid and prepared to watch. When he saw that his companions were all tortured and became lackeys, he couldn't bear it anymore. He couldn't bear it anymore and used his trump card. He took out an old, yellowed scroll and used his blood to write down names one after another on it. The entire scroll was densely packed. Blood floated around, and countless names shone. Then, the scroll floated in the void. The 9 Heavens holy ground elder formed a seal and burned the scroll. Whoosh! The space cracked open, and one figure after another appeared around him. This was not an illusion, nor was it an illusion. They were real people. Those 9 Heavens holy ground martial artists who were all over the ancient tomb were all teleported over. This was their very important trump card. They wouldn't use it unless they had no other choice. However, this 9 Heavens holy ground elder couldn't bear it anymore. So, he used his trump card. In an instant, dozens of experts were summoned. However, other than the 9 Heavens saint who didn't appear, all the other people who had written down their names appeared. What's going on? Why did they use the blood sacrifice teleportation? After the elders and disciples appeared, they asked one after another. Could it be that there was news of the saint? No, there was no news of the saint. However, the old man told him what he had seen earlier. What? Those guys really dared to do that. Damn it! They've gone too far. Kill them. You must kill them. These elders were furious. Each of them was filled with killing intent. There were too many experts around that snake. They didn't know what method he used to subdue so many of them. We're outnumbered. We're no match for him. That's why I used the blood sacrifice teleportation to summon you. We have to save our people and kill them all. That snake is very strange. I think he must have some secrets. Capture him and torture him out. In the future, we can control other experts too. These people went over murderously. Finally, the two sides met. Damn it. Let our people go. The people of Nine Heavens' holy ground roared. The elder gritted his teeth. His eyes were like divine lamps. Oh, the reinforcements are here. The Crimson Dragon sneered. 9 lackeys go. The 9 lackeys rushed out. However, at this time, the elder who was running away snorted coldly. He waved his hand, and countless Nine Heavens holy ground martial artists behind him walked over. Each of them was filled with killing intent. Seeing this, the 9 lackeys' faces changed, and they quickly retreated. They left after images in the sky. The Crimson Dragon also exclaimed, "Damn it, so many people came." The 3 Immortal Palace martial artists became nervous again. Chapter 25:01. Among the lackeys, the elders and disciples of the Nine Heavens sacred ground were crying emotionally, "Elder, save us. You must save us. Kill him. You must kill him. I want to tear him into pieces." They roared like crazy, but what awaited them was a few slaps. The Crimson Dragon sent them flying. "And now you want to escape? They haven't saved you yet." 9 great lackeys, "Cover us." The dark red divine dragon gave the order. At the same time, it spoke to the 3 Immortal Palace martial artists at its side. "Let's leave quickly. There are too many of them. We'll be at a disadvantage if we continue fighting." He was a wily old fox. He wouldn't do anything that would put him at a disadvantage. If it was a one-on-one fight, he wouldn't be afraid of any elder. He could even kill them. But there were so many of them. No matter how strong he was, he couldn't win against them. Therefore, he quickly retreated with the 3 Immortal Palace martial artists. The 9 lackeys also wanted to escape, but unfortunately, their lives were still in the hands of the Crimson Dragon. Therefore, they could only obediently resist. But this time, there were too many people from the Nine Heavens sacred ground. In an instant, they were surrounded by more than a dozen figures. They couldn't exert any strength at all. The remaining people were like a sharp sword piercing through the sky and killing the Crimson Dragon. The Crimson Dragon roared, and his body expanded. The dragon blood in his body surged and wrapped around the 3 Immortal Palace martial artists, increasing his speed. However, the people from the Nine Heavens sacred ground were determined to kill them. Moreover, their companions were still surrounded by the enemy. How could they let them go without saving their companions? Therefore, they chased them all the way and finally came to an empty cave. Buzz, buzz. The 3 elders of the Nine Heavens sacred ground formed a seal and raised their hands. 3 phoenix phantoms covered the sky and covered the entire space. The dark divine dragon was blocked and stopped. The army behind them charged over and completely surrounded them. "Master Long, what should we do?" Seeing this, the 3 Immortal Palace martial artists were terrified. The Crimson Dragon's face was gloomy. Beside him, the Nine Heavens sacred grounds lackeys who were tied up laughed wildly. "Ha ha ha! Did you see that? This is what you get for provoking us. You're dead meat." They gritted their teeth. Finally, they had a chance to take revenge. However, the Crimson Dragon smashed half of their heads with a slap, and there were many cracks on their bodies. "If you dare to threaten me, I'll kill all of you with a single slap. Damn it, let our people go." Seeing this, the army of the Nine Heavens holy ground roared in anger. This time, there were dozens of them, and they were not afraid of any sudden changes. This was unless Immortal Palace's great army also came. However, they suspected that this dragon didn't have any summoning and transport items in its hands. Otherwise, the Crimson Dragon Immortal Palace martial artists. Indeed, Immortal Palace's 3 individuals were also asking about it. The dark red divine dragon shook its head. This emperor didn't have that kind of thing, but perhaps little Xian Zi had it. What now? The 3 of them felt as if the sky was falling. However, the Crimson Divine Dragon waved its arm. Don't Immortal Palace martial artists. In an instant, he set up layers of array formations, enveloping the surroundings and forming a defensive barrier. Then, the Crimson Dragon said, "Don't worry, although I can't contact the Immortal Palace martial artists, I can contact Xiao Xuanzi. Let him save us. Contact the Palace Master." The Immortal Palace martial artists were excited. As long as they could contact the Palace Master, they could contact Xing Tian, Elderly, and the others. When the Immortal Palace martial artists came, they would have hope. Therefore, the Immortal Palace martial artists were relieved. The 9 Heavens Sacred Ground martial artists snorted coldly. "You want to trap us with an array? You want to call for reinforcements? Not so easy." 9 Heavens Divine Palm. An elder stood out and waved his palm. Light shone in the sky, and the whole space shook violently. 9 large palms appeared in the sky and slammed forward in an overwhelming manner. Pung, pung, pung. The fierce collision shook the sky and the earth. The bright light screen shook as if it would break at any time. But in the end, it did not break. It was blocked. It could be blocked. Inside the formation, when the 3 Immortal Palace martial artists saw this scene, they were extremely excited. The 9 Heavens Sacred Ground martial artists frowned. "Damn it, what kind of array is this? How can it be so strong?" The Crimson Dragon sneered. "Idiot, you think you can break my array so easily? How can it be?" His attainments and formations had far surpassed their imaginations. On top of that, he had many treasures in his possession. Therefore, the formations he created were incomparably powerful. How can a peerless Almighty break it? If 1 is not enough, then 2, 3. I don't believe that I can't break your defensive array. The 9 Heavens Sacred Ground martial artists were filled with killing intent. Sure enough, the 3 elders descended from the sky like gods and demons, and their bodies were emitting a strong aura. The 3 of them used their ultimate skills and attacked the array below. Sure enough, the light screen shook violently. It seemed that it could not take it anymore. But in the end, it resisted. Damn it, he was actually able to resist it. The 3 peerless almighties were shocked. This is impossible. At this moment, the 9 Heavens Sacred Ground martial artists finally screamed. "So what? I don't believe that he can resist all of us. Everyone listen up. Attack together." In the sky, dozens of figures flashed, and a vast sea of energy surged. Seeing this, the Crimson Dragon's face changed. "Damn it, do you really think that Ben Huang is easy to bully? I'll let you taste some pain first." The Crimson Dragon waved his dragon claws again. 4 killing arrays descended from the sky, enveloping the 9 Heavens Sacred Ground martial artists. "Let's see if you can break my array." Sure enough, the killing arrays were extremely terrifying. They turned into a peerless killing intent and enveloped the 9 Heavens Sacred Ground martial artists. The 9 Heavens Sacred Ground martial artists screamed and fought back madly. The elders also roared in anger. "Damn it, is the snake an array master? How can he have so many arrays?" Under the siege of the 4 killing arrays, the 9 Heavens Sacred Ground martial artists temporarily gave up on attacking and started to fight back. Seeing this, the 3 martial artists from Immortal Palace heaved a sigh of relief. The Crimson Dragon sneered. "This is Ben Huang's strength. Do you see? If Ben Huang uses all his killing arrays, it'll be easy to kill you." He snorted and ignored the people in front of him. Instead, he stared at the 5 lackeys of the 9 Heavens Sacred Ground. In the next moment, he said coldly, "The 5 of you, get over here. Make dinner for Ben Huang." As he said that, he took out a few demonic beasts from his storage ring. "This one is steamed, this one is barbecued, and this one is braised. Make some food for me. Otherwise, I have plenty of ways to torture you." The Crimson Dragon opened his mouth and spat out clouds of chi, which evolved in the air. Tables, chairs, pavilions, and all kinds of exquisite decorations appeared in the cave. Those who didn't know would think that it was a palace. The 3 martial artists from Immortal Palace were dumbfounded. The Crimson Dragon waved his dragon claws. "Stop looking, come and enjoy. I have spiritual fruits, spiritual wine, and spiritual tea. What do you want?" He waved his hand, and the tables were filled with all kinds of food. Chapter 25:02. This was great. Ben Huang loved to eat. Following Lin Xian and Whitey, he also loved to eat barbecued meat and spirit fruits. If it was in the past, he would have skinned these demonic beasts alive. The 5 lackeys of the 9 heavens' holy ground had no choice. They wanted to resist, but after a few slaps, they screamed in pain. Therefore, they could only bite the bullet and cook for the other party. Outside, the experts of the 9 heavens' holy ground who were fighting against the killing array vomited blood. Damn it, this was too despicable. They were fighting with their lives to fight against the killing array, but the other party was enjoying his dinner so leisurely. All kinds of braising and steaming. This made them mad. They were the hunters, okay? The other party was surrounded by them, but why didn't he look anxious at all? They all regretted coming here. The commotion here naturally attracted the attention of the surrounding martial artists. Those martial artists couldn't find any treasures in a short time, so they came to investigate. When they saw this scene, they exclaimed. More and more people came to watch, and there were about 100 people discussing. What was going on? Were the people of the 9 heavens holy ground fighting against the Immortal Palace? Sure enough, the news of the 9 heavens holy ground being attacked by the main force of the Immortal Palace was true. Otherwise, the 9 heavens holy ground wouldn't be so crazy. Look at that snake. Aren't they Lin Xian's lackeys? They were trapped by the 9 heavens holy ground. Trapped. What a joke. They were enjoying life, and the people of the 9 heavens holy ground were fighting with their lives. Who do you think is trapping who? These people discussed animatedly, and they were shocked. Then someone in the crowd screamed, F***CK? Which snake are they cooking for? Are they from the 9 heavens holy ground? What's going on? Aren't they fighting? Why are the people of the 9 heavens holy ground cooking for the other party? Inside the array, the 3 martial artists of the Immortal Palace looked around and said loudly, What do you know? These people are the lackeys of our Lord Long. What? Lackeys? Everyone's mouth twitched, and the experts of the 9 heavens holy ground who were fighting against the killing array vomited blood. Bullshit. Who are your lackeys? Damn it, I'll kill you. Don't give me the chance, or I'll make you regret it. They were furious. They were the elders of the 9 heavens holy ground, and yet they had become the lackeys of a snake. Moreover, they were being watched by so many people from the Holy Lands. How were they going to survive in the future? The Crimson Dragon didn't care about these things. He took out a small formation and began to contact Lin Xian. Although it was enjoying the show, it knew that the people of the 9 firmaments' sacred emperor would still be in danger after breaking the killing array. That was why they had to contact Lin Xian and have him lead Immortal Palace's army over. The Crimson Dragon began to transmit messages to the array formation. The formation flickered, and the message was sent out. Little Xian, hurry up and reply when you see the message. Ben Huang was about to be besieged. The dark sorcerer god sighed as he ate the golden roasted meat. How was he in any danger? Ancient tomb, in a stone house, inside the black earth vessel. Lin Xian was cultivating when a certain array formation inside the black earth vessel suddenly moved. It shone brightly. Seeing this, He too floated over and waved his broken sword to open the array formation. Then, the cries of the Crimson Dragon God could be heard. "Kid, save me. Ben Huang is trapped. The Nine Heavens Holy Ground is sending an army to kill us. Hurry up and come. Otherwise, you won't be able to see Ben Huang." The Crimson Dragon's cries echoed in the black earth vessel. It sounded very miserable. Those who didn't know would think that they were being hunted down. When He too heard this sound, he shook his sword and floated back to where Lin Xian was. At this moment, Lin Xian was still cultivating with his eyes closed. How could Rizalong be hunted down so easily? He too thought for a moment and didn't interrupt Lin Xian. After all, this breakthrough was very important. If he could successfully break the array formation, Lin Xian's strength and cultivation would rise to another level. Therefore, He too didn't have the heart to interrupt. Moreover, in his opinion, the Crimson Dragon was a wily old fox that had lived for thousands of years. He had the bloodline of the Dragon Clan, and even had the Dragon Clan's great skills. He wouldn't be killed so easily. Then let him be hunted down for a while. He too waved his sword and stopped in midair. On the other side, the Crimson Dragon began to eat and drink after sending the message. The 3 Immortal Palace martial artists also ate and drank. The 5 lackeys of the 9 Heavens Holy Ground stood by the side, carefully waiting on him. Not far away, the 9 Heavens Holy Ground experts were fighting against the 4 killing arrays. Among them, one of the killing formations was sent flying, and the remaining 3 killing formations were also dimming. Oh, not bad, not bad. In such a short time, they were able to break one of my killing arrays. These 9 Heavens Holy Ground people are not bad. The Crimson Dragon looked at the battlefield in the distance while eating and nodding slightly. Although he had broken one killing array, he wasn't too worried. More and more martial artists gathered in the surrounding passageways. Even the martial artists who were passing by were alarmed by the intense fighting sounds. They thought that someone had found a treasure, so they couldn't wait to rush over. However, after rushing over, they found out that there was no treasure. Instead, there were people fighting to the death. Whoosh! Friends from the 9 Heavens Holy Ground. Do you need our help? More than 10 figures flew over from one of the passageways. Their bodies were surrounded by 5-colored light, forming the 5 elements of metal: wood, water, fire, and earth. The people from the 5 Elements Palace were here. The surrounding experts exclaimed. The 5 Elements Saint was among them. That's right, the people from the 5 Elements Palace were here. Moreover, the 5 Elements Saint was leading them. When the 5 Elements Saint saw this, a fierce light flashed in his eyes. He gnashed his teeth in anger at the dark red divine dragon. Now that there was a good opportunity to kill him, how could they miss it? Thank you very much. The 9 Heavens Holy Ground elders were overjoyed when they saw this. Great. With the help of the 5 Elements Saint and the 5 Elements Palace, they would be able to break the killing array faster and faster. At that time, it wouldn't be difficult to break the other party's defensive array. As expected, with the addition of the 5 Elements Palace's experts, the second killing array was easily broken. I'll help you too. The 10,000 Lightning Saint led 7 or 8 experts from the 10,000 Lightning Holy Ground and appeared from another passageway. Even the 10,000 Lightning Saint was here. The surrounding martial artists exclaimed, but the people from the 9 Heavens Holy Ground were excited. Great! The 10,000 Lightning Saint is here too. Even the heavens are helping me. They knew that the 5 Elements Palace and the 10,000 Lightning Holy Ground had a grudge against the other Immortal Palace. especially the palace master, who was suitable for the other side. Now that the three sides were working together, how could a small snake resist? When they caught the snake, they would interrogate Lin Xian about his whereabouts and secrets. Chapter 25:03. Sure enough, with the three Holy Lands joining forces, the remaining two killing arrays shattered. All of a sudden, the three forces were like three huge mountains pressing down on the void as they walked towards the Crimson Dragon. F***CK. What's going on? Damn it, the five elements Crimson and the myriad Thunder Holy Land are here too. The Crimson Dragon could no longer stay calm. He threw away the golden barbecue in his hand and floated up into the sky. Damn it, this is not good. Master Dragon, what should we do? The three martial artists from the Immortal Palace were also worried. Previously, they could still fight against the Nine Heavens Holy Land with their array. But now, the myriad Thunder Holy Land and the Five Elements Palace were here too. They could not fight back at all. Don't panic. Damn it. These guys dare to come out at this time. Just wait. I won't let them go. The Crimson Dragon would remember this grudge. He swore that he would not let them go. However, this was all in the future. The most important thing now was to solve the crisis in front of them. He could not let them join forces to break the array. Otherwise, his defensive array would not be able to withstand it. It seemed that he could only use that thing. The Crimson Dragon gritted his teeth and decided to use one of his trump cards. With a wave of his dragon claw, another array floated out. However, this array looked very strange. It was like black quicksand surrounding his defensive array. It formed a black circle. The black circle was more than 10 meters wide. It was like a black river flowing continuously, shining with a strange light. What is this? The surrounding martial artists were stunned. The experts from the three Holy Lands sneered. It's useless. No matter what you are, you can't escape death today. Indeed, they were very confident. With the three Holy Lands joining forces, who could fight back? Even the clan of the ancients would not be able to fight back, right? Not to mention a small, crawling snake. Go! The elders of the Nine Heavens Holy Land, the Five Elements Saint Sun, and the Saint Sun Wan Lei waved their hands, and the experts from the three Holy Lands stepped forward. This time, they sent 9 people. The 9 experts' auras pierced through heaven and earth. Their figures were like demon gods, crushing the void. One could imagine how terrifying these 9 people were. Their figures were like lightning as they flew forward. The energy in their bodies surged like wild beasts, causing people to tremble. Soon, they arrived before the black quicksand. Facing this black quicksand, they didn't care at all. The 9 of them struck out with their attacks, hitting the quicksand. The quicksand spun rapidly. The black sand was very soft, and it absorbed all the attacks. It could be said that these attacks had no effect on quicksand at all. It was like punching cotton. Damn it, what is this thing? The 9 experts frowned, and 3 of them snorted coldly. The king's domain enveloped them, and in the next moment, they stepped into the black quicksand. Since he couldn't break through, he would just force his way through. The others were also puzzled. What exactly was the black quicksand? Soon, they were screaming. This was because they had finally discovered the use of the black quicksand. The 3 experts entered the black quicksand, and in the next second, they suddenly disappeared. Swish, 2 people appeared in the distance of the palace, while the other person disappeared. What was going on? What happened? Why did those experts suddenly withdraw? Everyone around was stunned. The people from the 9 Heavens Sacred Ground, the 5 Elements Palace, and the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground also frowned. What was going on? They hurriedly asked, and the other 2 people flew over from the corner of the palace. I don't know. As soon as we entered, we were teleported away by a force. Teleported away. Could it be a teleportation array? Hearing this, some people turned pale with fright. They looked at the black quicksand and gasped. The black quicksand was actually a teleportation array. Anyone who entered would be teleported. No wonder the dragon was so relaxed and calm. It turned out that he had such a treasure by his side. Yes, if they couldn't break the black quicksand, they wouldn't be able to reach the dragon, let alone break the array. Ha ha! The crimson dragon laughed loudly. Come, 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 sons of the three sacred grounds, hurry up and attack your grandpa dragon. The people from the three sacred grounds vomited blood when they heard the clamor. Damn it, this was too damn it. A snake dared to be so arrogant in front of them? He was courting death. Go, attack. Since it's an array, we're afraid of being damaged. I don't believe that he can ignore all the attacks. The five elements saint's expression was solemn, and the 1,000 thunder saints' face was gloomy. The elders from the 9 heavens' sacred ground also roared. In an instant, the experts from the 3 sacred grounds attacked again. This time, there were more people, more than 20 of them. They were connected as one, as if they were thousands of mountains. Terrifying attacks were launched one after another. The sky was full of flames, shocking lightning, 5-colored light, and a surging sea. All kinds of energy appeared in the sky, and the sky collapsed, and the earth cracked. The surrounding martial artists all retreated. However, after a series of attacks, the people from the 3 sacred grounds were dumbfounded. Damn it, this was impossible. They didn't receive any damage at all. What kind of array was this? Could it be that all our attacks were teleported back? How could there be such a terrifying array in the world? The people from the 3 sacred grounds were dumbfounded. The crimson dragon snorted coldly. You want to break my world's end near-at-hand array so easily? You must be dreaming. This array formation was his latest masterpiece. Previously, when he was in the treasury of the Immortal Palace, he had read a lot of information about ancient arrays and combined it with his own knowledge. Finally, he had created such an array. This array was called the World's End Near-at-Hand Array. It had the ability to teleport people randomly after entering, who knew where they would be teleported to. Even the Crimson Dragon didn't know. Seeing that the black quicksand had really blocked the people from the 3 sacred grounds, the 3 martial artists in the array heaved a sigh of relief. The 5 lackeys of the 9 heavens' sacred ground were pale and in despair. The 3 sacred grounds couldn't do anything to this snake. How was this possible? Were they going to be its servants for the rest of their lives? No, they screamed crazily in their hearts. This kind of life was worse than death. However, it was impossible for them to die, because the Crimson Dragon had started to torture the people from the 9 heavens' sacred ground with the 3 martial artists from the Immortal Palace. His purpose was naturally to provoke the experts outside the array. Sure enough, when the 5 lackeys of the 9 heavens' sacred ground were stepped on and slapped, the experts outside were so angry that they vomited blood. Damn it, I'll definitely kill you all. Let go of our people. They were about to go crazy. This was a slap in the face. The 5 Elements Palace and the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground were also roaring, but they didn't feel any psychological pressure, because there was no one among the lackeys. But was there really no one? Chapter 2504. The Crimson Dragon looked at the 2 holy lands and sneered. Originally, he didn't plan to attack the 2 of you. However, the 2 of you didn't know what was good for you and dared to jump out and oppose Ben Huang. Then, don't blame me. 9 big lackeys, get over here. This voice was like a clap of thunder, spreading in all directions. Whoosh, whoosh. 9 figures flew over from the distant passageway. As soon as these 9 people appeared, they half knelt in the void. "Greetings, Master." "What?" Seeing this scene, the surrounding people went crazy. The faces of the 5 Elements Palace and the 10,000 Thunder sacred land instantly sank. Their faces were as black as the bottom of a pot, as they realized that 7 of the 9 lackeys were actually from the 5 Elements Palace and the myriad Thunder sacred land. The remaining 2 were from the Tai dynasty. 9 lackeys, I order you to slap each other, the harder the better. If I go soft on you, don't blame me for being impolite. The Crimson Dragon ordered. Hearing this, the people in the distance felt their scalps go numb. As for the 5 Elements Palace and the 10,000 Thunder Holy Land, they roared furiously. They were really mad. Previously, when they saw the people from the 9 heavens holy ground being slapped in the face, they did not feel anything. But who would have thought that it would be their turn so soon? Not only were the 9 lackeys in the hands of the Crimson Dragon, but their souls had also been implanted with slave imprints. Therefore, at this moment, although they were instinctively unwilling, once the Crimson Dragon activated this kind of mark, they simply could not control themselves and began to interact with each other. The crisp sound of a slap rang out, shaking the heavens and splitting the earth. Those people's faces were shattered in an instant, but they were all experts and could recover instantly. Thus, in an instant, countless slaps were heard. The Crimson Dragon raised his wine glass and said to the people in all directions, "Come, come, come. Today, Ben Huang invites everyone to watch a show. It's free. You don't have to be afraid. Just enjoy it. Heavens, what happened? What was wrong with these people from the Holy Lands? Was he caught in an illusion? This crawling snake was too heaven-defying, using the people of the Holy Land as lackeys. He even slapped him in the face in public. This was the same as taking the lives of those Holy Lands. That's right, if they couldn't kill this snake, they would really lose all their face. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it even if you beat me to death. F***CK. Even if I saw it with my own eyes, I still wouldn't believe it." The other warriors in the passageway were stunned. The people of the 5 Elements Palace and the 10,000 Thunder Holy Land were furious. The 2 saints in particular were brimming with killing intent. "Attack. Capture them for me." Hearing this, the 2 elders of the 5 Elements Palace took action. They stretched out their hands, and countless rays of light flashed in their palms, instantly enveloping those people. The people from the 10,000 Lightning Holy Land were the same. They had to capture him. Otherwise, they would be utterly humiliated. The dark red divine dragon sneered at the sight of this. "You want to take him back? Do you think that's possible? Attack him. Kill them all." He formed another seal, and the seals in those people's minds trembled. "Roar. Kill." Those people roared out angrily, their eyes completely red. They didn't recognize anyone, directly attacking the large hand in the sky. In an instant, he had destroyed their attacks. Furthermore, they were charging toward the 5 Elements Palace and the 10,000 Lightning Holy Land. Humph! The 5 Elements Saint snorted, and a cold, murderous intent appeared in his eyes. Buzz! He rushed out of the 5 Elements mountain and blasted it forward. With a loud boom, the 3 figures in front of him were instantly blasted into a bloody mist. Nothing was left. They were directly killed. The surrounding people exclaimed, and the people of the 5 Elements Palace were stunned. They didn't expect their saint to be so decisive and ruthless. They had killed all of their own people. They were already under his control, and they were no longer his own people. The 5 Elements Saint's cold voice rang out, and everyone felt their scalps go numb. On the other side, the 10,000 Thunder Saint also attacked. An ice thunder divine spear pierced through the air, nailing the people who came in. In an instant, the 9 lackeys were mercilessly killed by the two saints. Blood rained down from the sky. When the people of the Immortal Palace saw this, they were extremely shocked. The Crimson Dragon also frowned. He sneered, "How shameless! They even killed their own people." To be honest, he didn't expect the two saints to be so ruthless. When the people of the nine heavens' holy ground saw this, a hint of madness appeared in their eyes. Among them, a few elders discussed and decided to attack. Those people probably wouldn't be able to survive. Otherwise, they might be able to use them to blast open the array. A few elders nodded. In the next moment, they suddenly formed seals and a strange aura exuded from their bodies. Not good. The Crimson Dragon's face changed. F***CK. You guys are too shameless. He roared and completely distanced himself from the 5 lackeys of the 9 heavens' holy ground. At the same time, his body expanded and turned into a giant dragon, enveloping the 3 martial artists of the Immortal Palace. Boom, boom, boom. The 5 lackeys of the 9 heavens' holy ground suddenly exploded, and a violent energy swept out. Everything was annihilated. The light shone brightly, and the energy surged. What happened? The surrounding people were stunned. They didn't expect the 5 lackeys of the 9 heavens' holy ground to suddenly explode. What was going on? Could it be that the people of the 9 heavens' holy ground had attacked? They looked at the sky. Sure enough, the elders of the 9 heavens' holy ground looked extremely cold. There was still a fierce aura left on them. It was indeed them who had attacked. It seemed that the 9 heavens' holy ground was also ruthless. The people of the 5 Elements Palace and the 1,000 Thunder holy ground were overjoyed. This is great. This energy will definitely be able to tear open the array. It might even be able to kill the snake. Everyone's gaze shifted to the front. There were indeed countless cracks on the defensive array in front of them. Some parts were even directly broken, and a few black holes appeared. This is great. The array is broken. I wonder how the snake is doing? They looked over. However, at this moment, a scream came from within the light. F***CK. It hurts. Who the F***CK did it? Don't let Ben Huang catch you, or I'll kill you. The scream made everyone's scalp tingle. What? That guy is not dead. However, judging by the scream, even if he is not dead, he is half dead. The people of the 9 heavens' holy ground sneered. Great. As long as they can injure the other party, it will be much easier to capture him. However, when the light that filled the sky disappeared, they were dumbfounded. What happened? Impossible. The other party is not injured at all. How is this possible? They were all crazy, because they found that the other party's body was black, as if he was struck by lightning. However, there were no cracks on the other party's body, and there was no blood flowing. The other party was not injured. Damn it, what kind of physique is this? Even the holy son of the Demon King Palace did not have such a physique, right? They were all crazy. They didn't expect a snake's physique to be so strong. Chapter 25:05. The people from the 9 heavens' sacred ground went crazy. They did not expect a snake's body to be so strong. The Crimson Dragon grimaced in pain. Although it didn't split open, the pain was very obvious. He stared at the 9 heavens' sacred ground. Damn it, I will roast you all later. Humph, you don't even have an array, and you still dare to be arrogant? The 5 Elements saint sneered. Kill. Countless people charged forward. However, although the defensive array was broken, the world's end near-at-hand array was still intact. This made everyone frown again. Don't worry, we also have an array master on the way. The people from the 5 Elements Palace and the Myriad Thunder sacred ground spoke. Hearing this, the people from the 9 heavens sacred ground's eyes lit up. They already had an array master in their team. However, it would take a lot of time to break the array. But now, the other two sacred grounds had also sent array masters. With the three of them working together, they did not believe that they could not break it. Moreover, this array was too coveted. If they could master it, it would definitely be a heaven-defying defensive method. Sure enough, after waiting for half a day, a figure appeared in the passage. The array masters from the Five Elements Palace and the Myriad Thunder Sacred Ground had arrived. Four white-haired old men walked over shakily. They looked at the black quicksand in the sky, and their eyes lit up on the Nine Heavens Sacred Ground side. An array master also walked out. The five array masters came forward together, ready to break it. Heavens! This is a teleportation. How did the snake do it? It's too exquisite. It's definitely not made by him. I think he must have gotten a treasure in this ancient tomb. The five array grandmasters said. They did not think that the black quicksand was made by the snake. Moreover, it did not matter whether it was made or not. They would work together to break it. With the five array masters working together, they were indeed very powerful. The Crimson Dragon and the three members of the Immortal Palace were in danger again. One could imagine that once the world's end near at hand array was broken, what awaited them would be the merciless slaughter of the three sacred grounds. Xiao Xuanzi, where the hell are you? Come quickly. The Crimson Dragon took out the array disc again and sent a message. Black Earth. Lin Xian opened his eyes, and a vast aura erupted from his body, like 100,000 volcanoes erupting at the same time. Violent energy blasted out in all directions. Fortunately, he was now in the cultivation room of the Black Earth, so he didn't cause any impact to the interior of the ship. Middle stage 7-star. Lin Xian stood up and clenched his fists. His eyes shone with a sharp light. He was too excited. You've broken through. The black soil floated in. Lin Xian grinned and asked, how many days has it been? 7 days. 7 days. Lin Xian took a deep breath, his heart filled with excitement. In just 7 days, he had advanced from early 7-star to middle 7-star. No one would believe him if he told others about it. One had to know that under normal circumstances, it would take 1 to 200 years for a king realm cultivator to break through from primary to intermediate king realm. As for him, he only needed 7 days. And it was done. This was absolutely heaven-defying. Of course, all of this was due to the ancient medicinal pill. What surprised him even more was that not only did he break through, but the great dragon sword soul had also awakened further. Now, his combat power was equivalent to a mid-8-star peerless almighty. If the great dragon sword soul went all out and displayed its maximum combat power, he could compete with a late 8-star peerless almighty. This didn't include his trump cards like the Black Earth and the Saint's Hand Bone. If he used those trump cards, he could even kill a late 8-star almighty. This filled Lin Xian with confidence. According to his estimation, he had only explored half of the saint's ancient tomb. There should be more heaven-defying treasures in the latter half. By the way, there shouldn't be anything happening these few days, right? Lin Xian asked. Rosalong sent 2 distress signals, but I saw that you were cultivating, so I didn't interrupt you. Distress signals? Lin Xian frowned. What's going on? Listen to it. He too took the disc array over, and Lin Xian listened to it. It was indeed sent by Rosalong. He frowned. He knew the strength of the Crimson Dragon. It was at the level of a saint. Even the other saints wouldn't be able to do anything to it. But now, it actually sent a distress signal. This meant that it was definitely in danger. When he heard the second message, he understood what was going on. The Myriad Thunder Sacred Ground, Five Elements Palace, and Nine Heavens Sacred Ground were really courting death. He, too, Use the array to lock onto Rizalong's position and fly over. No problem. Leave it to me. Hay too began to control it. Soon, the black earth flew over like a stream of light. On the other side, in the main hall, the world's end near at hand array had become dim. Under the joint efforts of the 5 top array masters, it was gradually being suppressed. F*CK, it's been 5 or 6 days. Why isn't Lin Xian here yet? Could there have been an accident? The Crimson Dragon looked at the surrounding scene with a gloomy face. Because Lin Xian wasn't here, he was in trouble. He estimated that his world's end near at hand array could only last for 2 or 3 days. After 2 or 3 days, it might be broken by the other party. When the army came, it would be difficult for him to deal with it. Even if he could escape, he would be seriously injured. This wasn't what he wanted. Another day passed. The 5 array masters were excited because they felt that one day they would be able to break it. The people of the 9 heavens sacred ground, 5 elements palace, and 1,000 thunder sacred ground were also excited. Their eyes shone with a sharp light. Crawling snake, prepare to die. The people of 5 elements palace sneered. The people of the 9 heavens sacred ground gritted their teeth. However, at this moment, 7 or 8 rays of light came from afar. These 7 or 8 rays of light were very fast. There was a floating immortal palace above them, shining down thousands of rays of light. The people of the 9 heavens sacred ground were here. Could those immortal palaces be the saint of the 9 heavens? Sure enough, this scene made the experts of the 9 heavens sacred ground all turn their heads. Buzz. Their eyes shone with a piercing light as they went up to greet them. How is it? Have you found the saint? They asked anxiously. However, the 7 or 8 people who came had ugly expressions. Some of the elders even wailed. We are guilty. The saint has been killed. What? The saint has been killed. How is this possible? Didn't they say that the immortal palace took him away after he was struck? This news was like a bolt from the blue, and it stunned the experts of the 9 heavens sacred ground. The 5 elements palace, 1,000 thunder sacred ground, and the surrounding experts were all stunned, especially the 5 elements saint and 1,000 thunder saint. Their expressions were ugly. They were holy sons themselves, so they knew how difficult it was to kill a holy son. But now, the saint of the 9 heavens had been killed. What was going on? Was the saint of the 9 heavens really killed? By who? Could it be Lin Xian? In the distance, the 5 array masters also stopped what they were doing and frowned. The Crimson Dragon laughed loudly. Ha ha! I'm dying of laughter. Who asked you to be so arrogant and find trouble with Ben Huang? How is it? The saint has been struck by someone. He was too happy. He was annoyed that he had been trapped here for the past few days. Now that he heard the news, it was as if he had eaten an iced watermelon on a hot summer day. The eyelids of the 3 immortal palaces' martial artists twitched wildly. Could it be that the temple master had made a move? They had also heard that their temple master had struck the other party with a sword. Chapter 25:06. Damn it! Is it Lin Xian? The elders of the 9 heavens sacred ground roared crazily. Their eyes were red, and their bodies were filled with killing intent, as if they had turned into demons. This news was too much for them to accept. Impossible! This is impossible! Among them, an elder in a white robe roared. Damn it! Another elder went crazy. No, I believe. A few elders cried, and their tears turned into blood rain, falling in the air. Not good. Retreat. The faces of the surrounding martial artists all changed. That was because they felt a shocking killing intent coming from the front. Puff, puff. Those who were slow in running were directly blasted away. Many of them were pierced by the killing intent. Defend. Even the people of the Five Elements Palace and the Thousand Thunder sacred ground on the side were holding up their domains and armors as they retreated. They realized that the people of the Nine Heavens sacred ground had really gone crazy. Kill, kill, kill. Those experts' killing intent pierced through the sky. With the immortal palace, how could he be killed? An elder questioned. This immortal palace was a supreme treasure. However, the 7 or 8 experts who rushed overgritted their teeth. We don't know. When they arrived, only the immortal palace was left. The 9 Heaven Saints' storage ring was gone, and all the treasures on his body had been plundered. His body was split in half, and his soul was completely destroyed. He couldn't live at all. As for the murderer, we don't know. These elders' faces were also incomparably ugly. If this news were to spread back to the sacred ground, it would definitely be a huge shock. One had to know that the sacred ground had spent a lot to cultivate a saint, but now he had fallen in this ancient tomb. This was definitely a huge earthquake. Find the murderer. We must find the murderer. Cut him into pieces. Otherwise, we won't be able to answer to the sacred ground. These elders had really gone crazy. Among them, many turned their heads and stared at the crimson dragon. It's them. It must be the people of the immortal palace. Kill this snake. Kill that Lin Xian. Kill everyone from the immortal palace. Avenge our saint. F***CK. What nonsense are you spouting? The dark red divine dragon was shocked. Which F***king? I did you see us do it? Killing the Holy Sun was also a big deal, and the Crimson Dragon was unwilling to admit it. It's you? No matter what, Lin Xian must die. If it were not for him, the Holy Sun would not have been injured, and no one would have dared to attack the Holy Sun. Therefore, the main culprit was still Lin Xian. Kill. These people roared crazily and attacked like crazy. However, due to the presence of the World's End near-at-hand formation, those attacks were all teleported away. However, these people had gone crazy. Dozens of 9 Heavens holy ground cultivators attacked without any regard for their lives. There were even people who directly entered the World's End near-at-hand array. At this moment, 2 attacks were sent towards the Crimson Dragon. One of them was even sent in. Ha! This is great. This was a random teleportation. As long as we try a few more times, we will definitely be able to enter. That elder roared madly. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he mercilessly struck out with his palm. Damn snake. Go to hell. They had gone crazy. They could not accept the fact that their holy son had been killed. Therefore, they vented all their anger and killing intent on the Crimson Dragon. This scene stunned all the surrounding martialists. Even the Crimson Dragon did not expect that the other party could be teleported to him randomly. The probability was too small. The person who was teleported was an elder. He was a peerless almighty. At this moment, his body was filled with killing intent that pierced through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. That piercing aura seemed to be able to destroy the entire world. Feeling this killing intent, the surrounding cultivators felt their scalps go numb. Sure enough, these people from the 9 heavens holy ground were going crazy. How could an ordinary peerless almighty release such a terrifying killing intent? Boundless light surged, and a violent energy was about to swallow the Crimson Dragon and the 3 immortal palace cultivators. The 3 immortal palace cultivators felt their scalps go numb. They thought that they were young geniuses, but under such a terrifying killing intent, they did not have any strength to fight back. They felt the void around them freeze, and the energy in their bodies was also frozen. They could not resist at all. Roar! The Crimson Dragon roared, and the dragon's roar turned into a sound wave that surged forward to fight back. The heavens fell, and the earth cracked. At the same time, he swung his dragon tail, and a red river slashed out like a heavenly blade. Bang! Bang! earth-shattering sounds were heard, and the two forces of energy dissipated in the sky at the same time. Seeing this, the surrounding crowd was in an uproar. The people from the nine heavens' holy ground were stunned, and so were the people from the five elements palace and the myriad thunder holy ground. The elder of the nine heavens holy ground had gone crazy and launched a shocking attack, but he still could not do anything to the other party. One had to admit that the other party was too strong. Its strength was probably not comparable to these saints and elders. Damn it, what kind of species is this? A variant of the heavens and earth? The myriad thunder saint's face was gloomy, and the five elements saint's eyes were like divine lamps. It seemed like it was indeed a variant of the heavens and earth. Thinking about it, it must have some kind of powerful flood dragon bloodline. Otherwise, his physique would not be so strong. So what if he has the flood dragon bloodline? Today, he has provoked us, so he must die. Go to hell. Just as the two saints were talking, the elder of the nine heavens holy ground and the crimson dragon were still exchanging close to 100 blows, and the surrounding area was shattered. There was not a single spot in the entire hall that was intact. Damn it, did they really think that Ben Huang was a pushover? The crimson dragon was also angry. It waved its dragon claws and formed two arrays which overlapped and protected the three martial artists from the immortal palace. At the same time, its body swayed, and it turned into a giant dragon, roaring and attacking. The Dragon Clan's grand super skill was activated, and countless red lights in the sky were like red swords, resisting the attack. After another 300 blows, the elder of the nine heavens holy ground screamed as half of his body was smashed by the crimson dragon's claw. Blood mist filled the air, and the elder of the nine heavens holy ground screamed. He entered the black quicksand and was sent out. He did not appear in the main hall, and no one knew where he was. But soon a roar came from afar. The elder with half of his body came out from a passage, and the half of his body had already recovered. His face was incomparably pale. Damn it, the elder roared crazily. He did not expect that with his strength and the nine heavens holy ground's grand super skill, he would not be able to defeat the other party. In the distance, the people of the five elements palace and the myriad thunder saints' eyes lit up. They had finally found a way to kill the other party. Hurry, everyone, get into the black quicksand. Although it was a random teleportation, there was still a certain probability of being teleported to the other party's side. As long as they were near the other party, they would immediately kill them. They would use all their trump cards. Chapter 25:07. He had to use all of his trump cards. The five elements saint and the myriad thunder saint gave the order. The elder of the nine heavens sacred ground roared, and everyone from the nine heavens sacred ground rushed over. On the other side, the people of the five elements palace and the myriad thunder sacred ground also rushed over. They were continuously transported by the black quicksand. However, after many attempts, 3 of the Almighties finally arrived near the dark red divine dragon. Not good. Lord Dragon, be careful. In the array behind, the 3 martial artists from the immortal palace were scared out of their wits when they saw this scene. If the 3 of them worked together, they would probably be able to kill even the saint. Therefore, at this moment, the Crimson Dragon was in absolute danger. Sure enough, the Crimson Dragon was pushed back as soon as they exchanged blows. F***CK. Ben Huang is in so much pain. The Crimson Dragon rolled in the sky and bared his teeth. His eyes were glowing red, and his body was emitting a murderous aura. With a swing of his tail, the 3 martial artists from the immortal palace were sent into the black quicksand. At the same time, he said, "Hurry up and leave. Teleport out. Don't stay here. The three martial artists from the Immortal Palace entered the black quicksand and were completely teleported out, disappearing from the main hall. Seeing this scene, the martial artists from the three holy lands roared, "Damn it! Don't let me be teleported too." They shot out layers of light, and the three king domains floated in the air, completely sealing the space where the Crimson Dragon was. "Damn it! Do you really think that Ben Huang can't do anything to you?" Seeing the three of them glaring at him, the Crimson Dragon was also angry. He was from the dragon race, and when had he been beaten up like this? In the next moment, he spat out a mouthful of dragon blood. The dragon blood turned into a sharp sword and flew out instantly. Poof! An elder of the Five Elements Palace screamed. His body was pierced, and a terrifying bloody hole appeared. His internal organs were all shattered. However, this elder was still a peerless expert. Although the injury was serious, it wasn't fatal. Whoosh! The elder of the Five Elements Palace retreated. The power of the Five Elements Palace rolled in his body, and his internal organs were instantly regenerated. However, his face was extremely pale, and his eyes were filled with fear. "Damn it! Be careful!" This guy was too strange. The surrounding martial artists were also stunned. A mouthful of blood was enough to severely injure a peerless almighty. Heavens, what kind of blood is this? Is it divine blood? The other two almighties wore solemn expressions. They shot out countless beams of light. Among them, the almighty from the 9 heavens' holy ground shot out a pagoda with 9 floors. The Crimson Dragon floated in the sky and shrouded it in radiance. The old man from the 10,000 Thunder Holy Land was wearing a thunder battle robe. Terrifying thunder and lightning covered the entire sky. The elder of the Five Elements Palace took out a large amount of elixirs and swallowed them. His pale complexion also became rosy. Boumei 5-colored cauldron rushed out of his body and floated in front of him. Then he attacked again. The 3 experts besieged the Crimson Dragon again. For a moment, the Crimson Dragon was in danger. Even though he was from the Dragon Clan, even though he was an old monster, he was still forced to retreat. However, this was already shocking, because an ordinary peerless almighty would probably be killed very quickly if he was surrounded by 3 experts of the same level. However, the Crimson Dragon had persisted for so long without being killed. It had to be said that it was indeed shocking. However, everyone knew that it was only a matter of time before he was killed, unless reinforcements arrived. However, would the people from the Immortal Palace really come? It had been so many days, but they had not come. Perhaps they did not even know what had happened here. "Damn snake! Go to hell!" The elder of the 9 heavens holy land roared. The 9-story pagoda above his head turned into a towering mountain and pressed down. On the other side, the elder of the 10,000 thunder holy land formed streaks of tribulation lightning and struck down. The powerhouse of the Five Elements Palace activated the 5-colored cauldron and directly smashed through the void. He wanted to suck the Crimson Dragon into the cauldron. The Crimson Dragon could not dodge the 3 peerless attacks at all. He roared and sent the 5-colored cauldron flying. At the same time, he relied on his strong body to resist the lightning that filled the sky. However, he could not resist the last 9 stories of the pagoda. It was about to envelop him. "Go to hell, snakes!" Seeing this, the elder of the 9 heavens holy land turned serious. The surrounding powerhouses of the 9 heavens holy land laughed wildly. There was a crimson light in their eyes, and they looked like demons. At this moment, a sword light appeared and directly struck the 9-story pagoda. With a clang, the 9-story pagoda was sent flying. What? It was blocked. The surrounding martial artists exclaimed. Old Zhang of the 9 heavens holy land even took a few steps back. He stopped and shouted coldly, "Who is it? How dare you interfere in my business? Get over here and die." He was really crazy. How dare someone interfere in the current situation? Who is so reckless? Humph. I think you should be the one getting over here and die. A cold voice sounded. The void split open and a young figure descended. What? Damn brat! It's you. Seeing this, the elder of the 9 heavens holy land was stunned. 5 elements palace, myriad thunder holy land, and the surrounding martial artists all looked over. In the next moment, they were all stunned. Lin Xian, it's you. Ha 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 ha. Brat, I wanted to kill you. I didn't expect you to take the initiative to come to me. The elder of 5 elements palace laughed loudly. The people of myriad thunder holy land snorted coldly. Seems like you don't want to take the road to heaven. Since you're here today, don't even think about leaving. Brat, I'll tear you to pieces. The people of the 9 heavens holy land were even more murderous. The 4 powerhouses in the sky descended from the sky and surrounded Lin Xian. To be honest, they were too excited. They did not expect the murderer of their holy son to be here. Below, the crimson dragon saw Lin Xian and heaved a sigh of relief. He quickly took out some treasures and swallowed them. At the same time, his body swayed, and he appeared in the sky. Brat, be careful. These guys from the 9 heavens holy land are crazy. Their holy son was killed by someone, and now they suspect you? Killed. Yes, I did kill him with my sword. Lin Xian admitted directly. Hearing this, the surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. The crimson dragon explained. No, after you killed him, someone else killed him. This time, his body and soul were destroyed. Someone else killed him? Hearing this, Lin Xian was stunned. He did not expect so many things to happen while he was cultivating in seclusion. The 9 heavens holy son was killed. A holy son was killed just like that. This was indeed a big deal. No, one of the people of the 9 heavens holy land were so crazy. However, what did this have to do with him? Humph, this 9 heavens holy son is really unlucky. Lin Xian sneered. Hearing this, the people of the 9 heavens holy land were so angry that they vomited blood. You're tuning into the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.